All right, guys, we are here today. We got Tesla quarter 2 earnings dropping today. Let me know what your expectations are for it. We got Target breaking highs up there. Um, here's Tesla right here. We're gonna do a poll. All right, we're gonna do a Twitter poll as well, like we always do. All right, so expectations are for expectations are for 82-cent profit on 24.53 billion in sales. All right, vote on the poll right now. 83-cent EPS profit per share and 24.53 billion. All right, guys. All right, I'm doing a Twitter poll as well. All right, guys, do they beat or miss? Let me know. Vote on the poll. I'm looking at the chat right now. Gonna get ready to put some music on. Y'all do me a favor, hit the like button as well if you haven't already. All right, so we got our poll on Twitter live. We'll see how many people really support me. I'm gonna post this Twitter poll. I want you guys to vote on it. Give me a follow on Twitter if you haven't already. I appreciate it. Yeah, I got some Tesla finance and website and app is down. Is it really? Here, let me get the music playing real quick. Again, this is second quarter earnings for Tesla, quarter 2 earnings. Remember, we are not investment professionals. We are not liable if you lose. I might have no idea what I'm talking about. It might be wildly wrong about anything and everything. So remember that. Yeah, let's get some music playing real quick, and then we will analyze the poll results that we just did. Green Day so far. I'll probably start trading a little bit as well, to be honest. So also, I need you guys to do me a favor. I need you to remind me whenever I need you to remind me whenever I'm about to, like, before the earnings call starts, I got to switch headphones. I got a couple different ones charged, but I have to switch before the earnings call. And so actually, I'll probably just set an alarm on my phone to remind me to switch like 5 minutes before the call or something. All right, let me fix this. All right. All right, there we go. All right, you should be able to hear the music now. All right, so here you can see Tesla actually having a little bit of a red day so far during market hours. You can see most of the day it has dropped down. It popped up a little bit at the opening bell, and now we are falling back down. It's currently sitting at around 292s or so, 292s. You can kind of see it right here. So bouncing back a little bit short term. The Q is actually green on the day, or no, Q is actually red as well. Mostly moving like Tesla here. Stock will drop no matter what the outcome. Do you think they debut the Cybertruck? I guess is another question. Looking at our poll numbers here, 80% think they're going to beat, 20% think they're going to miss out of about 50 votes. We got about 14 votes already, and this only posted about a minute ago. 57% on Twitter think they're going to beat, 43% think they're going to miss. But give me a follow, hit the like button. I appreciate it. Let me wake up a little bit. All right, so that is what we're looking at today. We got Tesla earnings. We also have a bunch of other ones. We got like Netflix, UAL, just a bunch of other ones, to be honest. We got United Airlines, Netflix, Tesla, of course. And we're going to cover all of them, to be honest. IBM, Las Vegas Sands, Alcoa, Zion Bank, Steel Dynamics, Discover, Kinder Morgan, Calix, Equifax, Liberty Energy, Columbia Bank, First Industrial Realty, a bunch of other bank stocks as well, small banks. But again, Tesla's scheduled to drop theirs at 4:05 p.m., Netflix at 4 p.m., United Airlines at 4:05, IBM at 4:10, Alcoa at 4:15, Las Vegas Sands at 4:05, Steel Dynamics at 4:30, and Discover at 4:35. So that is the run of earnings that we're going to be covering here today. We're mostly going to focus on Tesla, but we're still going to cover the rest as well, of course. So just bear with me here. And watching the market here, see if we get anything good. So far the day, since the opening bell, honestly, has been pretty sideways. Like, we've gone up and down a bunch and all of this stuff. You can see a lot of stuff's gapping down, but like, again, Target, man, I talked about it the other day. I told people I bought it. I got a lot of hate for it when I bought it. You know, and again, I want people to understand something here is that I'm not even necessarily like against you politically if you don't like Target. I'm not for you either. I'm pretty neutral politically. I don't really care about any of that politics stuff. I thought Target had objective value being down as much as it was, as well as like I went to Target. There were a lot of people there. And in terms of like PE ratio, it's pretty cheap. You know what I mean? So like all of those things together, despite like your political narrative there that I don't want to have anything to do with, they look pretty cheap for a buy, and we bought it and we made money on it, and I'm definitely happy about it. And yeah, let me know if you guys, in hindsight, think it was a good trade. I like it. I'm definitely happy to have taken the trade. Again, Tesla coming. Are they going to beat or miss? Let me know. What's up, Pawn? Let me zoom in a little bit. All right, so we got a couple charts up here. Put the Dow up here as well. I'd like 3 charts. Let me get this oscillator out of the way. We got that one. All right, so we got the S&P, the NASDAQ here. I want to put the Dow up. What is the Dow? Is Dow US 30 or US 100? I'm just going to put YM up and see if it, yeah, there's the E-mini Dow. You know, throw that thing up. All right, so we got all these up. I also want to put, like, I've been using the Market Oracle Pro a lot more. And that one specifically. Yeah. All right. Power running on the NQ, US 30. Gotcha. Time for the Tesla Soho. It's a good one. Netflix one as well. Yeah, Netflix is expecting. I'm going to put this data up on screen. Tesla is expecting 83-cent or 82-cent per share EPS on 24.53 billion, I think is what it is. 24.53 billion in sales. Make sure that's right. 24.53. Got it. All right. And this data drops at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Full call is going to be streamed again at 4:30. Or the full call is going to be streamed. Let me see when the call is actually supposed to go live. All right, so Tesla call is scheduled. I believe it's for 5. Yeah, so it's at 5:30. I hate the ones at 5:30. It just means I gotta wait extra long, but that's all right. 5:30 is when the call starts. And again, we're gonna stream it all. So there is the basic expectation. So you can see the chart up there. I'm going to put a timer up here as well. We got about 46.5 minutes. There we go. All right, so here is the timer for Tesla. I'm going to stick that thing right there. And you can kind of see Tesla starting to move up. You can see the Q moving up as well. What percent either way? So looking at our Twitter polls here. Twitter polls showing most people think they're going to beat. 68% of people think they're going to beat on Twitter. On YouTube, we got about 75, 80 votes. Vote on the poll on YouTube. Again, it's like right above the chat. 78% think we're going to beat. 22% think we're going to miss here. So currently undecided if I'll turn on my PC upon arriving home. Yeah, I mean, I got a little cushion on the day trading. So, like, I don't know what I'm going to do in the count that I currently have a cushion on. I don't know if I'm going to swing. Again, in chat, do you think Tesla's a buy? That's a good question. Tesla a buy ahead of earnings. What do you guys think? Let me know. Is it a buy? Make sure we're monetized here. I'm pretty sure we are. Yeah, good. Again, Q2 earnings for Tesla here. Again, will the Cybertruck come out? That's the question. I'm not sure. I'm ready, man, honestly. Q pop it up a little bit. Tesla starting to bounce back. Will it break 300 is the real question. You can see it popped all the way up. And again, this is something that happens a lot in terms of like general stock price action. It's something that I've seen happen a lot over my 7 years of trading. I've seen this happen a lot. So like with big milestone levels, if you don't know what I'm talking about when I say milestone levels, what I mean by milestone levels is that like psychological levels. Like in this case for Tesla, it would be 300. Like $300 is a whole number. It's a milestone psychological level that people are going to be paying attention to, in that typically those type of levels have strong support or resistance depending on if you're over or under them. And a lot of the time as you move up closer and closer to that level, it becomes kind of like a magnet, but only to a certain point. A lot of the time, once you actually get close enough to that level to where, you know, people are going to use it as a profit target, they're going to start selling, and it's going to act as a pretty strong resistance spot. And again, you can kind of see Tesla here with that. Tesla went all the way up to 299.50 or so and then rejected and never made another test of it since then. And in that regard, again, I think people just started to take profit once we got close to 300. The real question is like with earnings coming out today, Tesla's poised to break 300 if it has good earnings. I'm not saying it's going to have good earnings, and I'm not saying it's going to break 300, but I pretty safely assume that if we do have good earnings today and we come in better than expected for EPS, revenue, and guidance, there's a pretty good likelihood that we're at least going to test that $300 level again. But of course, it depends on what the numbers actually are. And let me know if you guys think Tesla is going to break that $300 level or not. Again, I think it could, certainly. I'm not saying it will. I think it could. Let me know what you guys think. Yeah, I mean, I see a lot of people saying not to buy it ahead of earnings. I'm holding Tesla long term. So, I'm holding Tesla regardless of earnings, no matter what it does, good, bad earnings. I'm holding it in a couple different platforms, I think. With that, what happens today is not super influential over any of my decisions there. But Tesla is a heavily weighted stock that's going to influence the market a lot. I think it's number 6 in the S&P 500. I'm not sure what the Q rating is. I know it's pretty high there, I think, too, right? Is Tesla in the Q? Let me see. Okay, yeah, Tesla's about 5% of the Q. So still large weighted Q stock as well. Mostly I'm an S&P guy, but Q's pretty heavily weighted towards Tesla as well. MBOT, the next one. Yeah, I saw some news on MBOT today. I'm not sure exactly. I can't remember what the news were, but it had some type of good news that came out. I'll have to check. MBOT. Microbot Medical expands its physical support with addition of leading Italian interventional radiologist Irene Bargellini, MD, to its scientific advisory board is the news. So they completed an extensive preclinical study performed in the U.S. as well. They also raised $2 million from a registered direct offering of 624,000 shares for $3.25 each. So a little bit of dilution there, to be honest. But, if you don't know what offerings are dilution. And so they probably strategically planned to put out these catalysts knowing that they were diluting the company. A lot of the time, diluting the company can just tank the stock. But it looks like this was a 325 one. And yeah, let's see when the offering was announced. Man, MBOT has no liquidity. And yeah, I mean, this is just a penny stock that's been diluted to all heck and back. And, just regardless of the good news that they're trying to have, I mean, it's had a pretty good couple months. But, the problem is it's still red on the year, despite the good couple months. And so it's up to 260s. They're diluting themselves more, which means that the company itself is not making money outside of the stock market, outside of selling shares to the public and diluting themselves. And so that's not typically a good sign. I know the cool thing to do is kind of jump on these penny stocks and talk about how great they are. I disagree. I don't know. It doesn't look good to me. I'm not buying it long term. I'll put it that way. But it's high risk, high reward. If it does work out, then you might be having huge gains from it. I really just don't know. It's not my style of trade. I'm not even going to answer that, Liam. I'm not even going to answer that, bro. Good luck with that, though, dude. Not, All right, but Tesla earnings, guys. I'm ready. Whew. All right, so again, Tesla earnings are usually the spark of earnings season that I'm really excited for. It's time, man. I'm ready for it. Again, Tesla. On the year, Tesla's had a great year, I think, right? Yeah, so in 2023, Tesla's had a great year. It's gone from basically $100, which I was very skeptical of Tesla at $100 too. It's all the way up to basically 300 right now. This is one of the ones I was the most wrong about at the beginning of this year. And again, I'm right or wrong about different things, of course, but I was right about a lot. I was wrong about this one for sure, though. I thought Tesla was risky at $100 just because of how Elon was talking about on social media. Since then, I've been a little bit more convinced, and I bought some shares, and I'm happy about buying them, but still. Yeah, definitely was wrong because Tesla has had a great year. It's gone from basically $100 in January all the way to basically 300 where it is now. So it's up huge, hundreds of percent. And yeah, just a great green bull run for Tesla this year. Where do you guys think it'll close the year? Where will Tesla close 2023, guys? Let me know what you guys think. What's up, Stuart? What's up, Ricky, Sam, Noble, Gustavo, K? Look at that, our votes here. We got a decent amount of votes so far on Twitter. 67% think they're going to beat, 33% think they're going to miss. On YouTube, we got about 100 plus votes already in about less than 20 minutes. 75% on YouTube think they're going to beat, 25% think they're going to miss. 350 and 400 by the end of the year. 360, 320, 2024, 4 to 500 bucks. 240. Liam says. Ard says 350. Bro, I almost got suspended in my high school for coding and starting up a betting app on the football team. Nice. That's fun. When I was young, when I was like, man, when did the prequels come out? Yeah, so in 1999, all I'll say is I was a kid in 1999. But back in my day, we had something called LimeWire or Kaza. There's a lot of different ones, but like LimeWire, Napster, Kaza or Kaza, whatever it was called, were like the big like music, where you could download files basically from all across the world before the movies were in theaters. So like before the Star Wars movies were in theaters, I had each one on my computer and I had watched it in very bad quality, but like it was the prequels. I had watched it before it actually came out in theaters. And so my dad was like all hyped up. My dad's like, "Hey man, we're going to go see the prequels." And I was kind of like, "Dad, I've already seen them." And he was like, "What?" But anyways, apparently I was like somehow streaming them to other people completely oblivious to the fact that I was doing it. And so we got like a cease and desist letter from one of the movie studios that basically said, "Hey, we're gonna sue you if you don't stop streaming our movies and letting other people download the movies." And so my dad got really mad at me, and like I got grounded for it at the time. But man, good times, bro. The Napster Kaza days, man, just good times, dude. I had fun. You didn't know what you were getting when you were downloading those things. My computer probably hated me for it, but hey, all good. But yeah. What I just said might be a good short, so hold on, let me mute this real quick. All right, team. All right, guys. So again, Tesla's still moving up. Still got a little bit of time left, but it's starting to test the 200 EMA, which is a pretty big support of resistance area. You left the sharing on. Yeah, I did something. Nvidia or Tesla? I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys like Nvidia or Tesla? Yeah, I left sharing on. Most of the time, it was There was a lot of sketchy. There was a lot of sketchy downloads back then in the day. You didn't know what you were getting. You didn't have the infrastructure that you had now with like downloading stuff. What's with Netflix? Netflix, we can put this on the right. All right, so sorry, I had to mute the music for a second. Music should be back on Nvidia. Yeah, Nvidia or Tesla, guys. Let me know what you guys think. Nvidia or Tesla. Here's Mbot. Rough looking chart. Somebody's saying Netflix. Again, Netflix does drop their earnings today as well. You can see Netflix is at a great 5-day period too. They're up to almost $500 for Netflix. And again, if we see Netflix is expecting 283 profit on EPS on 8.27 billion in sales. So $2.83 profit on 8.27 billion in sales. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think Netflix will beat or miss as well? I'm not sure either, but you can kind of see these here. Netflix starting to have a really good day leading into their closing bell. We still got like 30 plus minutes before the market closes. And Tesla earnings aren't technically until 4:05, but Netflix is supposedly supposed to drop right at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And again, subscribe if you haven't yet. One of the reasons we get thousands of people here for these releases is because we cover the data very quickly. And we cover all the big data. So we're pretty a good, reliable source. Like if you want to know what's going on in the stock market in terms of economic data, earnings, market news, hit the subscribe button. We do this for free. We don't sell a course. We don't sell our own service. We don't claim to be good traders or experts. We just kind of report free data. And again, I appreciate it. Subscribe if you haven't. Nvidia, the PE ratio of Nvidia right now is crazy high too. So again, there's arguments for both, I think. I think Nvidia, despite the crazy volatility that Nvidia currently has right now, I think Nvidia is a safer long-term company, but I think it's very close because I think Nvidia has. I just think Nvidia is a little bit safer. I still think Tesla is incredibly safe long-term. I think Tesla is. I think Nvidia is more established than Tesla, I guess is the best word. Now, Tesla might have a larger cap. Tesla, all that stuff, but it's close. I guess if I had to pick one long-term, I'm going to go with Nvidia. But again, I think Nvidia is a little bit inflated right now. So if I had to buy one right now, it would be Tesla. But if you give Nvidia a couple months to settle down, I might choose to buy that one. So really, I'm pretty torn. I guess if I had to buy one today, it's going to be Tesla. I like Netflix, man. Netflix is good. It's got good content. All right, we still got 30 minutes before the market closes. 30 minutes. Again, here's Tesla right here. People always get mad at my pronunciation. How am I supposed to pronounce it? Tesla? Is it Tesla or Tesla? I know it's Tesla, but that just sounds weird. Feels weird. What's up, Bao? That's a risky trade, bro. Risky trade. Hey, I took a big L today on the NASDAQ, adding to a losing on funding trading minis. I'm going to trade micros from now on. Yeah, bro. I mean, the big thing, dude, is like, listen, the only way to trade these funded account programs, man, truly the only way that I think that makes actual sense is you take these trades, right? You take these trades and you buy one contract of the regular E-mini. Only one. I think if you try to buy more than one, like it's gonna go against you way too fast. So you buy only one, and that's it. You buy only one and that's it. And I think that is, and you try to build up a cushion first. So you build up a cushion of $200 to $300, and then once you have that cushion built, and you got a nice green day of a couple $100 at least, then you can scale up your size if you have a large enough cushion. If you don't have a large enough cushion, just sit that out for the rest of the day. Just don't keep pushing it all. Like hang it up for the day. You know what I mean? I think that's the only way to really do it if you're gonna do it. And yeah. Don't do like I do. I mean, you can do whatever you want, but again, it really is something that like you trade small until you're up big, and then you can trade larger. If you're not up big, don't trade large, especially with like futures where that can all go against you just super quickly on you, man. They could just turn, and like you could just be in so much trouble so quickly, it's not even worth it. And so again, the big edge that you have is like trade small until you build up a cushion, and then once you have that cushion, that's when you take larger risks. You know what I mean? Buy the rumor, sell the news. Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, that's definitely like a true thing. Buy the rumor, sell the news. Um, all right, market's trying to hold. It's trying to bounce. Yeah, buy the rumor, sell the news, trade smart. Carvana. What's Carvana doing, man? It's been a minute since I looked at it. There's Netflix, though. It's trying. Tesla trying to get back over the 200 EMA. All right, guys. So we're watching the market try to push up. Well, you're English or you're overseas, Sam. So, like us Americans, we're going to pronunciate things differently. And that's all right. Y'all pronounce aluminum, aluminium. Okay. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying y'all are wrong, but it's definitely different than how we pronounce a lot of things, man. All right, guys. Hey, we got almost 200 people here. We still got like 30 minutes before these numbers come. And again, let me know what you guys think. Are y'all ready? What about Netflix today? Netflix does drop today, and they are expecting much bigger earnings report here. They are expecting for Netflix 283 EPS on 8.27 billion in sales. So what I'm seeing right now is Tesla obviously has the much bigger sales expectations, but Netflix has the bigger EPS. So Netflix is more profitable. All right, so I'm starting to see a turn in the market. I don't know if it's going to be an uptrend or not. I'm watching Tesla try here on the left side. We still got about 25 minutes or so before things drop. Zion earnings. I'll try to do my best. Just remind me. I'll try to cover it when it comes out. Again, I'll do my best to kind of cover it when it drops, but. All right, so we got a little cushion on everything. I only got 25 minutes left to trade, so I'm trying to get into some trades here. I guess the point is, like, in the E-mini, you can make, $100 plus. On one contract. And so I think that's what I'm sticking with. Look at Tesla's turn here. So Tesla diving back down. It's at 293.20s or so. Big pullback in everything else too, man. Market was pumping 6 months in a row. Regionals. Yeah, banking is interesting right now. Here's Netflix. Breaking down. I'm going to get this timer out of the way so people can actually see it. But how's the Top Step account? Top Step account is pretty good today. I mean, in one of the accounts, we're up about 2 out of 3,000, so we only need 1,000 more. And another one, we're up like 3,000 or 4,000. A couple other ones were break even, and so we're doing pretty well. We got a bunch of them right now. It's just, to be honest, I run out of time. Like, again, I still trade Top Step, and I think Top Step's great. If you don't have a large account, the perfect thing. It saves you money. It limits your risk. It gives you exactly what you're looking for without taking on too much risk. If you're good enough, you still keep most of your profit. And it's like $49 a month. So I think it's like an obvious thing that new traders should be doing. And like the patterns in stocks are very similar, and blue chip stocks are very similar to the patterns in futures, but there's no PDT rule in futures. So you can day trade and short. And so in like that regard, it makes perfect sense for traders to trade a funded account program like Top Step. It's like $49. But again, I'm biased. They're a sponsor of mine. But yeah, we're chugging along. It's just hard to devote so much time to it because it's like my Momo account's got almost 30K in it. My TOS account has over 30K right now in it. And so it's like I have so much I have so many trading vehicles, to be honest, that it's hard to focus on just one, and that makes my Top Step combine progress slow. But it's still obviously incredibly useful for most people. If Tesla misses, Nvidia crashes too, maybe. Again, they might have some sympathy with each other, to be honest. If it's possible, can you look at Alcoa? Yeah, I'll cover all the major ones. Netflix, Alcoa, like I'll cover all the major ones pretty fast. All right, so again, Alcoa is scheduled to release theirs at 4:15, so they're going to be one of like the later releases here. All right, so we're starting to bounce back up again. Netflix is trying. Hello, question for you. Is it just me that the market seems to move when you close your computer and walk away? I sat here for hours while it went against my direction and stopped me out. And now I come back and the NAS is up 100 points. Do you have any insight you could share? Yeah. Number one, stick to trading the most volatile parts of the day. Like again, you might see me trade early. Like in my opinion, you got to either go with pre-market or you got to go with like 30-40 minutes after the opening bell. 30-40, the opening bell a lot of the time is really choppy. Very rarely will like a stock just kind of pick up and start running one specific direction at the opening bell. Sometimes it does, but like it's certainly more rare for that to happen. And so with that, you got to just wait for the ideal time to trade. And that's going to depend on your strategies, like your type of trading that you're doing, and it varies, to be honest. The market is going to go all the way down and then way back up. Yeah, I mean, market makers are stopping people out left and right. That's kind of what happens. Market makers are saying, oh, look, this is a big support level. Let's bring it down there, stop those guys out, and then let it bounce back. And that's certainly happening. It's one of the reasons I don't set physical stops. I just use mental stops, and I watch the positions very closely. But it really depends on the type of trading you're in. Like my best trading, swing trading. And so like I'm just looking to buy extended dips. Like I bought Target a couple days ago. Target's been breaking highs, looking really nice. So it varies on the person. It's a subjective thing. It's going to vary. Everybody's different, I guess is the easiest way to put it. The key with Netflix will be guidance. I think if they disclose that they are holding a ton of completed movies and show they will be the winner of the writer-actor strike. Yeah, I think the writer strike is going to certainly play a factor into what's going on today and what happens with everything else. I think that's going to be I think that's going to have an influence over what happens today, and I think it's something that we should pay attention to moving forward with Netflix, because there's a lot of actors getting behind that. There's a lot. I've been hearing about it from a lot of different avenues, and so keep an eye on that. I'm not sure what Netflix is going to do, but it's definitely something to watch. All right, so Netflix bouncing back up a little bit. You can kind of see it here. It's still trying to make these moves. I'm just going to watch the market at the closing bell. Yeah, I mean, earnings are coming out right at the bell. And so we're going to get a big influx of volatility right at the bell. And so it's certainly something to understand that that's going to happen. Like Netflix, Tesla are very heavily weighted stocks. And so at the closing bell today, we're going to get sparks of volatility. That's just kind of how it goes. Like we're going to get volatility at the closing bell today, anywhere between 5 and 20 minutes past the bell. We're going to get a lot of movement in a lot of different stocks, and that's going to be an important thing to pay attention to and watch, of course. And again, we're going to cover all of it when it drops. Netflix earnings are right at 4 p.m. So right at 4, Netflix drops their numbers. I'm looking forward to the countdown to earnings, and people ask when it is, then you control. Yeah. Well, no, like the funniest thing that happens, to be honest, man, with me is like CPI day, for instance, right? It'll be like, it'll say the title will say CPI data 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. And then a scroller on the bottom of the screen will say CPI data 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. And then this little banner right here will say CPI 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. And like the most common question I get is, hey man, what time is CPI, bro? And it's like, dude, pay attention, guys. Yeah, that's the one I'm the most used to. It's all good. I'm here to help. Like I help people regardless, so it's all good. But still, we'll see if we get something good today. What time is CPI today, guys? Let me know. Y'all answer me. I don't know. Tell me your best time. All right. Netflix pull it back a little bit. You can see Netflix dipping down some here, down to 480 roughly, under 480 now. So getting a push down. Tesla is dropping at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Technically, Tesla is scheduled to release at 4:05 Eastern Standard Time. So technically, 5 minutes after the closing bell today is Tesla. Netflix specifically is scheduled for 4 p.m. on the dot, like right at 4. Again, Tesla expecting 82-cent EPS on 24.53 billion in sales. Netflix expecting 283 EPS on 8.27 billion in sales. So, John, the NASDAQ would move up if earnings are good for both Netflix and Tesla, but Tesla is the one I'm the most interested in that's heavily weighted in the NASDAQ, correct? I'm pretty sure, you know. Hold on, I'm taking some profit in a couple of these trades on, let's see, we're in 2 contracts of the micro E-mini here. I just took half off. Currently, we are up about $100, or we're up about 160 on the day. Again, goal is to build a cushion. I'm going to let this ride and see if we can really break down here. So far, we've locked in $100 in profit on this. And then I'm going to see if I can get a little bit more. And if not, at least we got a green trade. So Netflix, I believe, is about 5% of the queue. I'll have to look. At the NASDAQ, Netflix on the NASDAQ is number 13. It makes up 1.34% of the NASDAQ. Again, it's weighted number 13, making up about a little bit less than 1.5% on the NASDAQ. The top list of the NASDAQ is Microsoft, Apple, Nvidia, Amazon, and Tesla is number 5 at about 4.5% of the NASDAQ here. 4.5%. So that is what we're at right now. Again, we're up about $60 here, but right now we're up about 160 because we're already green and locked in profit. I'm watching Netflix dip here, and I'm watching Tesla dip as well. We just got to make sure to cut the trade within 15 minutes. From my naive experiences on, perspective on macro, I think all 4 major indexes are overextended up into the clouds, notwithstanding that their respective markets are mostly balanced. I don't trade macro, however, so feel free to ignore me. Yeah, I mean, I trade macro, but when I mean macro, I mean like 5+ years. Yeah, around 5% is Tesla's weight in the NASDAQ, 5% or so. But yeah, I trade long term, but like there's different ways I trade it. Like sometimes I'll trade swing trades that last a couple days. Sometimes I'll take a couple months. Sometimes I'll take a couple years. Sometimes I'll take just, I'm going to hold this as long as I can. Man, my support resistance line has worked pretty well here. So what stocks move straightly divided by 20 should move the cure? Netflix is a good amount of debt, not terrible, but not great. Yeah, I think Netflix is obviously like going to be a safe longer term company. Now, what it does short term, completely different story, no idea. But generally going to be a safe longer term one. Again, we still got 13 minutes or so before this data drops. All right, so I just got out of this. We are currently up on the day about 175 bucks on this one. We got a couple different accounts. So we're up 175 there. On the other one, we are up about 205, give or take. So that's the day so far right there. What's your perspective on Tesla? Will they beat or miss earnings? I have no idea if they're going to beat or miss. What I'm looking for is whether they specifically debut the Cybertruck. I want to see if they debut the Cybertruck. If they announce the Cybertruck debut date, I think that's going to make them fly. If that's what we're going to be looking at a lot. But again, I'm not sure. All right, guys, we still got 11 minutes or so before the data comes out. Again, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. I appreciate it. Let's get everybody in here. All right, so here's Tesla. We got a bunch of other ones. So here's Tesla basically since the opening bell today. This is Tesla's run since the open. Put that here so everybody can see it. But yeah, there's Tesla right there. And that's the full day. So pre-market starts about right here, and you can kind of see it fall after that. Yeah, Netflix, I'm not sure. I'm still looking at a couple other things. Tesla is actually technically red on the day now. It's pretty close to break even, to be honest, for Tesla. Like, Tesla is pretty flat. The previous closing price on Tesla today is $293.34. $293.34. All right, still popping up 9 minutes. Netflix dipping down to $476. Will either of these break $300 or $400 today? Looking at our poll numbers here, we got about 300 votes. 78% think they're going to beat. 22% think they're going to miss. Looking at our Twitter poll here, we have about 66% of people think they're going to beat. 34% of people think they're going to miss on Twitter. So, yeah. Again, y'all can hear the music, right? I just want to make sure. Also, prior to their actual earnings call, I got to switch my headphones out. So remind me then, their earnings call starts at 5:30, so it's going to be 4:30 our time. Said this for 4:25 or so p.m. All right. Make sure this is up so I can hear it. There we go. All right. Still getting some dips. Looks like it was a good move for me to cut that E-mini trade. We just cut it. Is AMC squeeze really trending again, bro? How many times can you fool people before they stop buying it? You know? How many times can you fool people before they stop buying it, man? All right, Netflix started to bounce back up. So Netflix drops theirs at 4 p.m. Tesla drops theirs at 4:05 p.m. You can see the timer right here. It's actually a little bit longer than that because it's about another 5 minutes. So it's going to be in about 12 and a half minutes. Tesla specifically is at 4:05 is when they're scheduled to drop their earnings. Now we don't actually know when they're going to, but they're scheduled to drop theirs at 4:05 p.m. Netflix is scheduled to drop theirs right at 4. So that's the schedule currently. And again, Tesla is expecting 82-cent profit EPS on 24.53 billion in sales. Netflix is expecting 283 EPS profit on 8.27 billion in sales. What happens if the number is below 82 cents per share? It means that Tesla was less profitable than expected. EPS is profitability. It's a gauge on profitability. So if EPS comes in low, it means they were less profitable than initially expected. If EPS comes in high, it means they were more profitable than initially expected. And so that's basically what it is. It all has to do with profitability on EPS. In terms of revenue or sales, revenue is basically the ceiling at which, the company, like how much money they're bringing in. EPS is basically their margins. So revenue is income they're bringing in. EPS is margins, like how profitable they are relative to that income. So a lower than expected EPS means they were less profitable than expected. If we look at the actual graph here, though, and this is something I like doing for all of them. Here's Tesla's EPS graph heading into it. All right, so Tesla, with everything in mind, has had a pretty good let me close this out and get rid of this. Tesla, with everything considered, had a pretty good, trend here. Their last EPS, they came in at 340. So they are expecting a dip down relative to their last one on trailing 12 months. Actually, I'm sorry. This is the yearly one. So here's the quarterly EPS. So last time they came in at 73-cent EPS profit. So if we show up at 82 cents today, that is going to be higher than last time, and that'll be a good trend. A good graph. They are last time they showed up at minus 23% growth and profitability. So again, we'll see. Here's their yearly chart. This is trailing 12 months. Here's quarterly. So we could also look at their revenue graph. Here is their revenue graph for Tesla here. We can zoom down and see that they've had a beautiful revenue trend. Again, last time they expected 23.32. And so this time they are expecting a little bit more than last for revenue. But a really nice yearly and EPS graph for Tesla here. And again, we'll see if they hold or not. Still got about 5 minutes before the actual results. And they're supposed to drop about 5 minutes after that as well. So we got time. You guys ready? So here's the market pulling back a little bit now with Tesla. Here's Tesla right here. So we went up to the 200 EMA and rejected. Here's Netflix with a pretty big dip currently as well on this latest candle. They are dipping down some. Yeah, this is the place for earnings. Yeah, all good. I appreciate it. We're also going to throw this thing in sub-only mode. So if you haven't already subscribed, we appreciate it. Thank you so much. If you could take the time, hit the subscribe button. Definitely appreciate it. Netflix still dipping some, and so we're going to keep an eye on this. We're going to watch how this affects the Q. The Netflix is about number 13 on the Q. On the NASDAQ, Netflix is about number 13. On the NASDAQ, Tesla is about number 5. I think it's, let me see. Tesla S&P 500 weight is about 2%. So Tesla makes up about 2% of the S&P 500. It's number 5 on the S&P. So yeah, 3.5 minutes, guys. 4 minutes, actually. We got about 4. What do you think of this rebalance coming on Friday? I think it's interesting to watch to see what happens in terms of volatility from it. I'm not going to make any bets or predictions on what's going to happen because I really don't know, but I think it'll be interesting to see if we get some volatility in there, All right, so Netflix dipped and then starting to bounce back up. We still got a couple minutes. Earnings on Netflix and Tesla are very important. If Netflix drops, the entire market would drop. Well, yeah, so like in terms of the S&P, In terms of the S&P, Netflix is Netflix not on the S&P? Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Nvidia, Tesla, Alphabet, Meta, Google, Berkshire, UNH, JP Morgan, Johnson Johnson, Exxon, Visa, Eli Lilly, Procter & Gamble. Okay, so Netflix is all the way down, weighted at number 31 on the S&P. It is not, Netflix in terms of weight on the S&P is not nearly as much. It is only weighted about 0.5% of the S&P 500. Again, Tesla, on the other hand, is number 5 with a 2% weight. So basically, Tesla is going to move the S&P more than it does more than Netflix does. Again, Netflix at 478 or so. Tesla's still trying here. We're all the way down at 292s. And again, the EPS expectations for today are for Tesla, we're expecting 82-cent profit EPS, which is profitability on 24.53 billion in sales. All right, guys, we still got a couple minutes. Quad witching Friday. Quad witching is always the 3rd Friday of the month. Oh, actually, yeah, you're right. The 21st is quad witching. It's the 3rd Friday of the month. Buy. Yeah, what do you guys think? Buy or sell? This is the first major I've heard of a major rebalance. It's the Big 7. Last one was in 2011, I believe. The last rebalancing was in 2011. All right, guys, we still got a minute and a half before the market closes. And remember, Tesla earnings aren't for 5 minutes after the market closes, at least as per what they are saying. Netflix bounced it up a little bit. I'm not sure if it's quad. I think it is. I think Friday is the 3rd Friday of the month. I think. I'm not 100% though. So I don't know for sure, but I think so. Not 100% though. Eating M&Ms and watching the market. Hey, Netflix at 4. Yeah, so Netflix is going to drop theirs right in about 50 seconds for Netflix. So Netflix is dropping theirs soon. And so be ready. We got all our sources up for Netflix earnings. We can watch it on the right side for Netflix. You can watch it on the right side. All right, so 30 seconds until the closing bell. And then actual Netflix is supposed to be at 4 p.m. Eastern time. And then Tesla is supposed to be 5 minutes after that. So we still got like 5 minutes before Tesla. But Netflix is supposed to be soon. Watch Tesla right here on the right. Or watch Netflix here on the right side. All right, so watch it on the right side here. Here's the release. You can see it move with Netflix. So there's the release. There's the closing bell for Netflix. There's the closing bell for Netflix. I don't see anything out yet. Make sure you hit the live button. Again, make sure you hit the live button. Netflix dropped Netflix dropped 8.19 billion in sales for Netflix. 8.19 billion in sales for Netflix. So Netflix dropped 8.19 billion in sales. You can see the movement here at 488 for Netflix. 8.19 billion in second quarter revenue. Second quarter net revenue was 1.49 billion. And it is tanking right now on Netflix. Netflix is absolutely tanking here. So password sharing crackdown delivers a jolt of new Netflix subscriber growth. We're going to put all these numbers. You can see Netflix dive. It's on the right side here, all the way down to 463s. Watching Tesla here, which isn't scheduled to release their numbers until 405. But Netflix is moving a lot. I'm still waiting to see their EPS for Netflix. Nothing out for Netflix yet, or nothing out for Tesla yet. Again, 8.19 all the way down to 465s. Put the rest of these numbers up on screen as we can, but I don't see their EPS release though. Big drops though for Netflix down to 450s. Second quarter EPS 329 versus expected 285. So they had much better than expected Is that right? I don't know if that's right. What are you guys showing for Netflix EPS? I'm showing 8.252 billion versus expected 8.67 billion, and they are dropping all the way down to 450 at one point. United Airlines, UNH dropped their numbers too. They showed 503 versus 404 estimates. We'll put those numbers up on chat. What is the EPS showing? Okay, there it is. Second quarter EPS 329 on revenue of 8.1 billion. So here is the Netflix numbers right here. We'll put this up on screen. Still waiting for Tesla. Still not out yet for Tesla, but waiting here. Still got a couple minutes for Tesla here, but United Airlines is out with theirs as well. Netflix beat really good on EPS. Revenue missed. Revenue expected 8.3. They showed 8.18. Netflix. We're gonna put the rest of this data up on screen in the chat. So check the chat. There might be a rebound coming for Netflix, I think, though. Their EPS was really good, so like their profitability was much better than expected. And again, I think there might be a rebound. Look at Netflix popping all the way back up to 470s. Tesla still hasn't reacted a ton to this, but we still got time. Yeah, United, 503 versus 404 estimates, much higher than expected revenue. So United did really well also here. Still waiting for Okay, Netflix had positive guidance too, guys. I think Netflix might be a buy. I'm not going to tell you it is, but they guided well. Look at this. So here's Netflix right here. They guided well. Look, so there's the guidance. Third quarter EPS 352 on 8.52 billion in revenue guidance. So much better EPS guidance. Their revenue guidance is a little bit light though, but that's okay. I think they might rebound though. Look. Tesla's still here. We still got a couple minutes before Tesla drops their numbers, supposedly. All right, but look, there's Netflix rebounding like I thought it might. All right, so we still got about a minute left before before Tesla is set to deliver theirs. We're at 291s right now, 291s. Yeah, I would buy the dip, to be honest, in Netflix. I was honestly truly considering it. I just don't know if I have enough time. Again, Tesla about to drop their numbers, and we got less than a minute before that happens. So it's gonna happen anytime now. We just don't have time to cover it. All right, still watching Tesla. Nothing out for Tesla yet. Netflix third quarter operating income 1.89 billion. All right, so here's the release for Tesla, guys. Be ready for Tesla. There's Tesla dipping down at 290s right now, guys. 290s for Tesla, bouncing all the way back up. It's scheduled to drop right now. I don't see it yet, though. Waiting for Tesla numbers. We are getting some opening volatility from this at 305 or 405. Just broke lows on Tesla down to 288s. Waiting for the Tesla release here. It looks like it's out. Hold on. Let me see. All right, Tesla earnings beat, I believe. Again, waiting for Tesla. Tesla down all the way to 283s right now in this earnings release. What I'm showing here is profitability for Tesla. 91 cent beat the 82 cent estimate on EPS, so better than expected EPS. With 91 cent versus 82 cent estimate for Tesla so far. That's what I got for the second quarter so far. A lot of volatility coming in there all the way back up to 288s. All right, so they ended up showing revenue of 24.93, better than expected. Let's wait for guidance numbers here. Wait for guidance numbers. Again, they're already back up. Better than expected revenue, better than expected guidance. letting it consolidate here. You can see Tesla at 289s here right now, 289s. All right, so again, better than expected, 91-cent EPS on 24.93 versus 24.93 billion in sales. So better than expected EPS, better than expected revenue for Tesla. Looking at their guidance numbers here. Let's take a look. All right, so let's take a look at this, guys. All right, so here it is. You can see the deliveries here. Production was 489, 460,211 Model 3 and Ys. Production came in at 479.7 thousand, up 86% year over year. Total deliveries came in at 466,140, up 83% year over year. Tesla Incorporated says, do not expect a meaningful increase in weekly production run rate in the Shanghai factory. Quarterly profitability positively impacted by lower cost per vehicle, which includes lower raw material costs and IRA credit. Tesla rebounding really nicely, back up to 294s. Will it break 300 today, guys? Will it break 300? I think it could if it continues to surge here. We got their production numbers at the right here in chat as well. We'll put the rest up in chat also. Again, they said do not expect meaningful increase in weekly production run rate in Shanghai factory. Quarterly profitability is positively impacted by lower cost per vehicle, which includes lower raw materials and IRA credit. You can also see Tesla keeps 2023 goal of producing about 1.8 million EVs. Will Tesla break $300 today, guys? Let me know. We had Zion coming at 111 versus 109 estimates. Tesla Inc. says they're now testing the Cybertruck vehicles around the world for final certs. Validation, quarterly profitability negatively impacted by reduced ASP due to mix and pricing. Will it break $300 today is the question here, guys. I don't know. Will it? Let me know what you guys think. So we got the earnings call 5:30 p.m. Earnings are released. Second quarter total production came in at 479.7 thousand. Second quarter Model S and X production came in at just under 20K at 19.489 thousand. All this up in chat. Starting to move up. Tesla just broke pre-market high or after hours high up to 296.40 right now. Netflix starting to dip down, but at 296.40s currently, guys. 296.40s. Let's see where it goes. And again, speaking of Tesla, check out Moomoo. Moomoo is open the entire session of pre-market and after hours. I can trade at 4 a.m. if I want to. It's really the reason I moved over to TOS. And again, what they offer is super useful here. If we put this up, I can go to the Explore section right here and see the best performing stocks. I can go to a stock heat map and see everything that's going on. I can go to Hong Kong strategies, Canada strategies, JP. I can go to hot strategies here. I can build my own screeners that are super in depth and really useful. I can see the PE ratios right here. And this is free, a free broker, a free platform. I can go to futures and see what's going on. Divvies, announcements, IPOs, broker ratings. The other cool thing is the Payportfolio section, which allows you to follow traders, see what their portfolio looks like, and see which ones are doing the best based off of what stocks they're buying. So you can see what their actual results are based off of their strategies and follow them in the trades. Very useful, super useful for learning how to trade profitably. Their news section is one of the best in the game. And there's zero commissions in stocks. If you open up an account and deposit at least $100, you get 5 free stocks. If you open up and deposit at least $1,000, you get 15 free stocks. And I got like Palantir and a bunch of other ones. If you open up an account and deposit at least $5K, you get a free share of Google or Tesla plus the previous 15. And I did get Tesla. I did get Tesla shares. So again, if you want to check out Moomoo, great way to help support the channel. Super useful. Really, really nice platform. I can check all the economic data from them. All right, so let's see if we can hold the 200 EMA right here. For this. Let's see if we can hold the 200 EMA. Again, let's see. I mean, Tesla's moving up. It's reacting to the earnings. The actual earnings call is going to be later, and I'm not sure if Elon's going to be on it. We're going to go ahead and pin this to the top of the chat if you want to check it out. right, so the operating margin is 9.6%, which is down 14.6 year over year. They cited reduced ASP due to mix and pricing and cost of production ramp of 4680 sales, increase in OPEX driven by the Cybertruck and AI, and negative FX impact is what they said regarding margins. There's the numbers right there on chat. I'll put it up on screen as well. All right, we're starting to dip once these margin data came out. We're down to 290.2s now for Tesla. We'll see if we hold. Hey, thanks, Tobias. I appreciate it. What do you guys think of these results? Was this good, bad? Starting to dip all the way back down to test the bottom range here. The bottom range. Netflix dipping down as well here, team. All right, we're at 461s, guys, 460s. Yeah, started to dip down there at 287s right now, 288s. Super interesting to see what happens here for Tesla. Again, the earnings call is going to be really telling. We'll see what they talk about. Elon should get on. They're going to do a Q&A that's going to influence the stock at least a little bit. So let me know what you guys think. Netflix down to 463s or so, 463s from this report. And again, we still got a while until the actual earnings call starts. For the time being, if you want to day trade, and the patterns in futures in the S&P and the NASDAQ are very similar to the patterns in stocks. Like if you look at the NASDAQ, it's got like 5% is Tesla. So it moves a lot with Tesla. If you look at the NASDAQ currently, like if I pull up the NASDAQ chart right here in futures, you can see a very obvious correlation with like Tesla. But the difference is that you can day trade futures. So you can day trade the NASDAQ with no PDT rule. Look, it's literally the same thing. It went up, down, and you can day trade this in futures, no PDT restrictions. You can day trade short, buy market, sell market, buy bid the ask. Top Step is the most legit funded futures program in the world, in which they give you a demo and they test your skill. The base one's $50K. They give you a $50K demo. If you can hit $3K in profit on that demo without losing over $2K, they fund you $50K with a 90% split, and you get to keep your first $10,000 in profit. So the operating margin remained healthy for Tesla at approximately 10%. There is that number up. We're putting these numbers up on stream. AI development entered a new chapter with startup production of Dojo training computers. So we're putting all this up on chat. But yeah, the cheapest way to get exposure to futures is a funded account program. And Top Step is the most legit. They've been around for over a decade. They have the most reliable payouts, and they fund thousands of traders every year. They pay out millions in actual withdrawals every year. And futures trading is the best of both worlds, in which these funded account programs, you have limited risk. The base combine for $50K is $49. If you lose, you're only out $49. But if you can pass it and you're good enough to pass it, you still keep 90% of your profit. You still get to keep your first $10,000 in profit plus 90% after that. And so if you make $20K for your first profit, you're going to keep 19 of that basically. So really useful. Top Step's the most legit. And if you want to check them out, they are a sponsor of mine. Great way to help support the channel, and taking these combines builds your skill. You can check it out here. Again, great way to help support the channel. Earnings are already out, Gabe. Again, operating margin came in at 9.6%, approximately 10%. They say it remains healthy. It's down from about 14.6% year over year. They said that this was due to ASP, reduced ASP due to mix and pricing, cost of production, ramp of 4680 sales, increase in OPEX driven by Cybertruck and AI, as well as negative FX impacts, is what they said. Alcoa ripping instead of dipping. What is Alcoa symbol here? Let me take a look. Alcoa is AA. Alcoa's up a little bit. Alcoa specifically showed a 35-cent loss per share, but it was better than the 57-cent loss estimate. Sales of 2.68 billion, missed the 2.7 billion estimates. And I'm going to give you guys this link. This link brings you to the actual Tesla. This brings you to the actual production and delivery stuff. And then, let's see. All right, guys. We could read this here, and it says quarter 2 23 was a record quarter on many levels, with our best ever production and deliveries and revenue approaching 25 billion in a single quarter. We're excited that we're going to be able to achieve such results given the macroeconomic environment we are currently in. Our operating margin remained healthy at approximately 10%, even with price reductions in quarter 1 and quarter 2. This reflects our ongoing cost reduction efforts, the continued production ramp success in Berlin and Texas, and the strong performance of our energy and services and other businesses. Our commitment to being at the forefront of AI development entered a new chapter with the start of production of the Dojo training computers. We are hopeful that our immense, hold on, let me minimize this. We are hopeful, where'd I go? We are hopeful that our immense neural net training needs will be satisfied using our in-house design Dojo hardware. The better the neural net training capacity, the greater the opportunity for our autopilot team to iterate our new solutions. In conclusion, we are focusing on cost reduction, new product development that will enable future growth. Investments in R&D, better vehicle financing options, continuous product improvement, and generation of free cash flow. The challenges of these uncertain times are not over, but we believe we have the right ingredients for the long-term success of the business through a variety of high-potential prospects. You can see that financial summaries here. I'll give you a sec to look at it if you really want. But yeah, so operating margins last year in the second quarter at about 14.6%. In the quarter 3, they were at 17.2%, 16% in the quarter 4. Quarter 1 was at 11.4%. This quarter was at 9.6%. So you can notice a noticeable decline in the operating margin. And I'm not sure what that's from, but that is noticeable here. Revenue growth in vehicle deliveries, growth in other parts of the business. You can see Tesla starting to come back. It's at 294s right now, 294s. Reduced ASP year over year, excluding FX, negative FX impacts of about 0.6 billion, about 600 billion or 600 million. Growth in other parts of the business. Profitability, again, operating income decreased slightly year over year to 2.4 billion in the second quarter, resulting in about a 9.6% operating margin. Year over year operating income was primarily impacted by the following, which is reduced ASP due to mix and pricing, cost of production ramp up to 4680 sales, and other charges related to that. Increases in operating expenses driven by the Cybertruck AI and other large products. Negative FX impacts growth in vehicle deliveries despite margin headwinds from underutilization of new factories. Lower cost per vehicle, which includes lower raw material costs and IRA credit, and gross profit growth in energy businesses as well as the services and others. You can see the quarter end cash equivalents and investments increased sequentially by 0.7 billion, about 700 million, to 23.1 billion in the second quarter, driven mainly by free cash flow of about $1 billion. Partially offset by other financing activities, including debt repayments. And you can kind of see the delivery numbers here that we already covered. So it's starting to bounce back. We're back over the 200 EMA for Tesla. And again, we'll see if we hold. Yeah, for sure, Jonathan. It's not a bad thing. I mean, they changed the prices and reduced and cut prices a lot. And so having, a margin in line with, previous ones is good, I think. Yeah, and so Elon's going to speak as well. We'll see what happens. Where's Netflix at right now? All right. It's about, so gross profit margin declined about 680 basis points to about 18.2%. So gross profit margin is 18.2%, guys. And I'll put this up on screen since a lot of people are asking about margins. You can kind of see that in there, but it's not a huge miss, to be honest. I mean, it's fine. With considering the price cuts that they've had, it's not terrible. I mean, I'm not claiming to be a super profitable trader, Elliot. I mean, I'm green on the year in TOS and Moomoo, which are my brokers. But Again, I'm not selling a course claiming to be some guru expert, man. I'm just reporting on stock market news right now. I'm reporting on Tesla earnings. We're doing it quick. We get over 1,000 people here because we cover it pretty fast. And we're gonna stream the entire earnings call live as well, which is in about an hour. Again, Alcoa trying here. Where's Netflix at right now? We're about a 462s for Netflix, about 462s. Yeah, and Tesla is number 5 on the S&P, so it's heavily weighted on the S&P. So we'll see what the S&P closes at after. So Tesla dipping under the 200 EMA. We're at about 293s or so, 293s. Tesla's still holding itself up. What are some tips for new stock traders vocab that is helpful beginner trading? It depends on what kind of trading you're doing, man. I would understand what EPS is, understand what revenue or sales are. I would understand the process and procedure of earnings calls and economic data like CPI, inflation data, PPI inflation data, PCE inflation data, FOMC rate hike decisions and their influence over markets is what I would do with any type of trading, but especially like investing or swing trading. Man, what's up, Dion? Thanks, bro. Thanks, man. Yeah, it's 5:30 Eastern Standard Time, 4:30 Central. How much is Moomoo Ride? So Moomoo is a stock platform. It's free. Doesn't cost anything to trade stocks on there. You can trade stocks on Moomoo. It's zero commission stock trades. Open the entire time of pre-market, and it's free. And if you deposit over $100, you get 5 free stocks. You deposit over 1,000, you get 15 free stocks. You deposit over $5K, you get the previous 15 plus a free share of either Google or Tesla. And again, I did get Tesla, so I'm pretty hyped about that. Good chance Tesla's going to rip tomorrow. Yeah, let me go ahead and put in another poll here. So we still got over 1,000. Hey, thank you so much for Coralia. Hey, thank you so much. I appreciate you becoming a member. Thank you so much. You can now use these great coveted emojis like Beardless John, my wife Carol, my favorite dog Rosie. Thank you so much for becoming a member. But no, with that said, let's go ahead and do another poll here. So we're going to do another poll, and the poll is going to be, let me go ahead and end this poll. This poll, we got over 1,000 votes. 80% said they were going to beat, and the 80% that voted were correct. We did beat on EPS and sales for Tesla. Does Tesla break over $300 before the end of this week? Yes or no? Vote on that poll. That's the new poll. Yeah. Again, Tesla's pretty flat. I mean, if you look at the previous closing price relative to where we are now, we're pretty flat. I mean, here's where we closed. Here's where we currently are. And so we're actually pretty neutral right now. We're not really doing that much. Again, I don't know what we're going to do moving forward. I really don't. We'll see. But also, guys, we need 16 likes. 16 likes to break 111,000. Or we need 16 likes or 16 subscribers to break 111,000. And so you might be sitting there and you're like, hey, this guy's great, super handsome, but like, I don't know if I should subscribe to his channel. I'm telling you right now, you should subscribe to my channel. We don't sell a course. We don't sell our own service. We don't claim to be good traders. We give you free economic data. And typically for like CPI, PPI, jobless claims, retail sales, all that stuff, we cover it incredibly quickly. Like we cover this data quickly. We stream all the big earnings calls. So if you want to know what's moving the market and why, you can watch our stream, hit the subscribe button, do it now. Since delivering more than when all-time highs previously, it'll definitely go past 300. Let me see what the poll numbers show. So right now we are showing 77% of people out of about 200 quick votes that think Tesla's going to break over 300 before the end of the week. Again, let me know. I'm not sure. Hey, thank you, Willie. Hey, Godfather, thank you so much, man. I appreciate you becoming a member, bro. Thanks, man. We should just that little plug should have broke 111,000, and yeah, we got another 50 subscribers just now. So thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it. Again, Alcoa, still trying. Netflix looking weak right now, testing the bottom of this range here. Oh, you know I gotta make that a banner right now, dude. Hey, listen to this man right here, Lucid Ranger guy, whatever your name is. You know, just listen to him. He knows. Hey, thank you, Austin. I appreciate it, man. Meta also about to break resistance. Is Meta, man, Meta's kind of extended for me, though. It really is. Like, again, Meta, I think it's just up so much on the year. Like, I like Meta as a company. I think they've changed a lot relative to when they lost 10 billion in a specific year off of the metaverse. They've changed a lot since then. And so I like them as a company, I think. But they're so expensive right now. It's kind of like NVIDIA. You know, NVIDIA, the PE ratio is freaking ridiculous. And so, honestly, I think even for Tesla right now, I think the amount at which Tesla has moved up over the last 7-8 months, I think if Tesla doesn't crash, it's still doing okay. You know, as long as it doesn't crash, I think Tesla is going to be fine. Same thing with like Meta and NVIDIA. I think when Meta and NVIDIA drop their earnings, I think as long as they don't crash and like give back huge percentages, I still think that's a good thing. I think just holding their gains relative to their PE ratios is good. I think if they can hold their gains, I think that's good. And again, I think they're good companies long term, but the PE ratios are so high, and they're mostly up from the AI runs that we've made. And Tesla could be argued to be an AI stock as well. The only thing about this next earnings season that's starting basically today with Tesla earnings is that a lot of these AI companies are actually going to report on their results, and we're going to see whether AI is influencing them on their bottom line monetary level enough to be justifiable for the moves that they've made. Basically, we're going to see if they hold the AI moves that they've made based off of their actual profits. And again, that's a big question mark here with a lot of these AI stocks, including NVIDIA, AMD, Tesla, which, again, I think if it holds here, that's great. We'll see what the earnings call says, though. But it's something to definitely pay attention to over the next month and a half with all these other stocks dropping their earnings. This is something that you want to watch because, again, if they can just hold, I think that's still good because, again, a lot of them are just so extended. If you look at Tesla, Tesla's not one of these stocks that I'm talking about, by the way. But even Tesla, like here's, let me see. This is a daily chart. Where the heck? Okay, so yeah, Tesla just this year. Tesla at the beginning of this year was at $100. It's now at $300 basically. So it's up a huge amount of the year as well. At least you're not getting Forrest Griffin anymore, bro. I know. Honestly, I've had people say I look like a lot of different people. And I've had some good ones. I've had somebody said like Ryan Felipe. I've had that one. I appreciate that. That's like, you know, I'll accept that one. Then I've had some bad ones like Forrest Griffin. Do I really look like Forrest Griffin? You know, I've heard Paul Felder from the UFC. And I'm a UFC fan. Like, I watch the UFC. So it's like, I know exactly who y'all are talking about with Forrest Griffin. Man, all I can say is that hurts, man. That hurts. Paul Felder, I'm a little bit neutral on. And then they also said I look like some piano singer guy. I can't remember who he was, but they said I look like him too. Yeah, there's the Paul Felder. There he is. What's up, man? Stifler? Dude, I don't look like Stifler. I don't have blonde. I guess I kind of, my hair's like dirty blonde, brown, light brown. Hairy. I don't even know how to take that. Are you going over IBM? Did IBM drop their numbers? Let's see. All right, so here's IBM right now. IBM posted second quarter EPS of $2.18 on revenue of $15.5. $2 a share is what they expected originally, and 15.57. So a lot of these companies, a trend that I'm seeing. Neil Diamond, the GOAT, not the GOAT. You ever seen the movie? Oh man, what's the movie about? Saving Silverman. Neil freaking Diamond, bro, the GOAT. I watched that movie recently, so anytime I hear Neil Diamond, that's the first thing I think of. Tesla, though, guys, is mostly sideways. We're not really doing that much. We dropped a lot. We went back a lot. If we do have a trend here, I think you could argue that this is some type of triangle pattern. It looks like almost a symmetrical triangle right here, which just, you know, there's the symmetrical, you know, look like pattern. And so maybe we'll break to one side or the other for Tesla. I'm not sure. You can watch the earnings call right here. Again, we're going to stream the full earnings call live right here. At 5:30 Eastern Standard Time. Yeah, I'm going to stream the whole thing. Yeah, well, Elon's probably. I'm assuming like with how much is riding on the next few quarters with all this stuff, I think Elon's going to be on the call today. I would assume so. I'm not for sure, but a younger version of Prince Harry. That's the first I've gotten from that Gia. But it could be worse though, you know. I don't have red hair though, but you know, it's my last name is London as well. Like my actual last name is London, which is I think the capital of England. So my roots are definitely English. A little bit of French. I'm from Louisiana, so we got a little bit of Cajun French in there too. But Netflix testing the lows of the range. We could also potentially see a descending triangle here in Netflix, depending on where it breaks. It's testing the lows, though, and this is kind of like a triple bottom here for Netflix. You can kind of see we've had that bottom right there tested a couple times. So, again, we'll see if we hold that spot, too. Yeah, my son's name is Jack London, actually, Jack London. Hey, what's up, Abe? Yeah, he better say Cybertruck 10 at least times. I'm for that. I can get with that. Yeah, we'll see. I hope he says Cybertruck. If I was Elon, I would say AI Cybertruck. And I would just kind of repeat it as much as I can. I think it depends on if he gives a hard date for the Cybertruck. And if they do debut that, hopefully it's going to be soon, man. Honestly, I've been covering Tesla for a long time. And it feels like every freaking earnings call, you think they're going to give a hard, like debut date for the Cybertruck. And then they just say, hey, it's not out yet. Hey, we're going to wait. We're on track. We're on track. And then they never actually do it. And so I hope they just give a hard, an actual date for the Cybertruck. Like, that's what I want, is an actual date for it. Again, we'll see. Duke the Fool said, anybody on board with Netflix as a falling wedge pattern? Yeah, that's the kind of pattern I just drew. It's kind of a descending triangle wedge type pattern. I'm not a big, triangle flag trader, but I do see it. Dogecoin. The Dogecoin holders are still loving Tesla, I bet, yeah. I think Elon blasts Tesla to buy more. Maybe. Every year full self-driving comes out. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty close to full now, though. Like, self-driving's already pretty much there, There's a lot more that goes behind it if you're talking about, driving without people in the car, But Elon being on the call means Cybertruck and AI. The numbers aren't the catalyst today. AI is? Maybe, bro. We'll see, dude. I mean, I think it's possible. But I also think it's possible that he gets on the call because it's important, Again, we're right under the 200 EMA for Tesla right now. We're right under the 200 EMA. We're at about 292.30s, 292.40s. Discover is falling off the map. Well, it makes sense why. So, again, I talked about this before, and I'm gonna use this as a talk about the future of technology and what that means. Okay, so all right, so one of the talks that I've been having with viewers lately has been regarding AT&T and Comcast and Verizon. And one of my arguments, and again, it's just a subjective opinion here. One of my arguments is that I think AT&T and Netflix and Comcast are going to go like this over the next 5 years. I think they're just going to fall. And the reason I think they're going to go down is because I think people are using no contract-based services now. Even if they continue to use Verizon or even if they continue to use AT&T, I think the margins are going to be hurt by the no longer need for long-term contracts in both cable, internet, TV, all that stuff, right? And so basically TV's dying, and streaming is taking up a large part of that because I can go to Hulu TV, I can go to YouTube TV, I can go to Sling TV right now and get more content for much less and have, right now I used to pay AT&T and DirecTV like $300-400. I used to pay Comcast the same. Now I have Netflix, Amazon Prime, Hulu TV, Fubo, so I could watch sports and all that stuff, and it's less than I ever paid for AT&T or Comcast. And so in that regard, I think TV is on the way out. I think we're always going to have like some type of options with like streaming services and stuff like that. But in terms of like conventional TV channels, I think they're going to fail long term. I think they're becoming obsolete. People just don't use them as much as they do. You're always going to have a small percentage of people that are still interested in having them, but over time they're just going to drop. They're just going to go down. And so I think Discover I'm sorry, I'm stupid. Discover is the credit card company. I was thinking of Discovery. But Discover's the credit card company, and I'm an idiot, basically. The argument's still true, but I'm sure that, yeah, there you go. But yeah, I'm dumb. But no, anyways, the argument's still the same, and I think Discovery, with that said, though, I haven't even looked at Discovery stock. What's the actual Discovery stock symbol? Does anybody know? Discover Financial, man, they don't have that big of a market share. They must not, but I might be wrong there. Rate Fubo. I do have Fubo as a streaming service, so I do have Fubo. Fubo is okay. If you're using it to watch sports, it's great. It's great. You can get around needing AT&T and stuff like that. If you're using it as like a competitor to like Hulu or Netflix in terms of free content outside of sports, it's not that good. You know, if you're using it for sports, it's great. If you're not, yeah, DFS is Discovery. Netflix earnings call is not going to be for another. Oh, so DFS is Discovery. Why does it say Discover Financial Services though, right here? No, this is Discover Bank, so it's different than Discovery. All right, so Discovery is Disney, Discovery is Warner Bros. So I'm thinking of something different, but they may own it. I don't know. But yeah, Discover is down. They are down because of again, this is not a stock I necessarily follow. Discovery is DFS. They showed 354, missed the 3. They were the only earnings that I saw today that missed EPS profitability estimates. Sales came in lower than they missed on both, and they're gapping down a pretty big amount. I'll put this up on screen. Yeah, so yeah, we're gonna put this up on screen for Discover. Again, I don't really DFS is the credit card. Discover is what it is. Again, I don't have them. I don't use them as a credit card company. Netflix is in shambles. Netflix is at the bottom of the range. They're still over that previous low, but they're still pretty close to it. Remember TV commercials every 10 minutes for 2 minutes. Yeah, but ads are taking place of that, you know. Like, people cry because I promote like my own sponsors, and it's like, dude, we might do a plug every like 30 to 45 minutes. Clearly, the people complaining never grew up with the radio or TV, right? If you're watching TV, if you're listening to the radio, you're going to get a plug or a commercial every like 20 minutes minimum, you know, or every 20 minutes maximum. Like, it's at least every 20 minutes, if not more. And so I think one plug every hour, every 30, 45 minutes to an hour is pretty reasonable. Speaking of plugs, if you haven't already, check out TopStep. TopStep, if you want to day trade this activity here, if you look at like, here's a great example. If you look at the SPY, which you can trade the E-mini, which is basically the SPY in futures with no PDT rule. Look at how similar this looks to Netflix right now. You know, so like a lot of these move just like the stocks, and you can day trade them with no PDT restrictions. You can day trade short the S&P 500. You can day trade and short the NASDAQ, buy market, all that good stuff. If you want, no PDT restrictions. They're open 24/7. And funded account programs are actually allowed, and they're super good ways to have limited risk but similar rewards to put the money up yourself. $49 is the base combine for Top Step. They give you a demo. They test your skill. If you can hit the target while following their rules, they fund you between $50K up to $150K, and you get to keep your first $10K plus 90% after that, which is a really good deal, and they're the most reliable for payouts. They pay out millions every year in actual withdrawals. They fund thousands of traders a year. Check them out. $49 for the base combine for a limited time. I'm not sure how long it's going to last, but check out the link right there. I'm definitely biased in their favor because they pay me money. And so I am certainly biased in Top Step's favor, but I still genuinely think they're a good company. Check it out right there if you want to see it. You're the top 3 least annoying shills. I mean, the way I promote stuff, I think is the smart way to do it, okay? Like, definitely top 3 smartest ways to promote stuff in the world. Like, the way I see it, I tell people I'm biased. I say, hey, look, I'm biased in their favor. You know, they pay me money. Because of that, I obviously have a financial interest. I'm biased, right? I think that's the most reasonable way to plug anything. If they sign up from that, you know, it's their call. It's their decision. I'm not going to be mad. I'm not going to restrict you from any content I have, whether you buy or not. You know, I'm not going to sell a course. We're not going to have paywalls behind our content. And so we're just going to plug things. And when we do plug them, we're going to tell you we're biased because we are, you know, try to be reasonable. Some people still hate, but that's all right. Some people are just going to be mad no matter what. Right now, I'm using Moo. This is Moo. It's not what Elon says, but what he doesn't say that will move the market. He said at 250, it was too high. Yeah, I mean, he could be doing that just to talk it down in price, but who knows why he said what he said. Let's see. Tesla, again, consolidating pretty neutrally over the last 10 minutes or so. Hey, what's up, day trader? Hey, all good. Yeah, we're going to keep Tesla up for sure. It's Tesla's earnings call today, man. All right, we're going to put the timer up here. Okay, we got about... How weird is that, dude? That is super weird, bro. Did anybody see that? Did anybody see that? That is so strange. Did anybody see what just happened? I pulled the timer up at exactly the right time. At exactly the right time, where all I had to do was press play. And the timing that it has left until the actual earnings call was exactly right. Law of attraction here, man. Listen, I'm on a different wavelength than you guys. I'm telling you, man. Listen. I'm going to go ahead and make this so you can see it. But that's weird, bro. It set it to right at 4:30. So I had to pull that up at exactly the right time. That's weird. Anyways. Could be a coincidence. I mean, it's definitely possible. But what does that mean, guys? Does that mean Tesla is going to go up or down? Let me know. It's a sign. We just watched the movie Signs too with my daughter. Maybe I just got that in my head. I don't know. And again, I'm not really one that believes in the law of attraction. I'm really not. Like it just, you know, I'm just not one that believes in it. But I've had some weird instances. I've talked about them on stream before. They're fun to talk about. But yeah. Netflix still sitting there, man. Most stuff is right now pretty flat. A lot of stuff's just waiting on the earnings call. We do have jobless claims and some other economic data coming out tomorrow. So my portfolio would be flat or red without crypto. Yeah, I mean, yeah, but what's the argument that the law of attraction would actually work? Like, okay, so people are saying that, oh, well, you can do things with your mind, right? The only argument I think that would make plausible sense, and it's a crazy sounding argument, would be if we're in some type of simulation and like our thought processes have power and that would influence the reality around us if we were in like a simulation. That's the only argument I could really come out with it. And again, I'm not even saying I don't believe that, but that's the only reasonable argument. I think it's a little out there, you know. Are you guys buying the Netflix dip here? Netflix down to 450s. It's just up so much on the year as well. Netflix is one of those stocks that have had a crazy run this year. as well. You can kind of see this is back in April, May, June. Just a crazy good run here, man. You can kind of see. This is Netflix since January, all the way up from basically 260s, 270s, all the way up to basically 500. And it was lower than that too. It was down to 160s at one point in time. I remember this big drop in Netflix from their earnings. This was a really bad earnings report that came out right here that just tanked. It was a super red day in the market. Like the Netflix earnings came out and they were really bad. I can't remember what the numbers were. And that basically just destroyed the market that day. Again, we stream every day. We cover all this stuff like every day. And I can remember this specific day right here. You can see it on the chart. That specific gap down, and it drug the whole market down. And so, yeah, you can kind of see. But since then, man, and again, I thought that was just a crazy drop. We have effectively rebounded from that really kind of doomsday earnings report, and we're already back up to basically 500, just to show you how much Tesla has gone up. And obviously, Tesla is one of the largest companies in the world. It makes up it has a huge market space in terms of streaming, but for me, when I buy up something, I'm usually looking to buy discount value. And right now for Netflix, it just doesn't seem cheap to me. It's up over where it was before that crazy drop in earnings, and it's now up to freaking $500 a share, basically. And so if I'm going to buy Netflix, I'm going to need it to pull back a little bit before I buy it. I'm just not interested in buying it up here right now. Again, I like Netflix as a company. I think it's a good company. It needs to pull back for me to buy it, though. Yeah, I mean, Philippe Patek. I know Joe Rogan said something like that, where he said the law of attraction doesn't work. You just the more you think about a specific thing, the more you work for it, and in turn, the higher likelihood that you'll actually accomplish it. I don't know if I buy that though either. I guess I kind of understand that dynamic, but I don't know. I'm just kind of. I think everybody knows that The Secret DVD was one of the most misleading things ever. I used to watch that as a kid, and it would be on like HBO, and I would read the description. It'd be like the secret path to everything, and I remember watching that documentary and being like, this is total crap, and just turning it off. It was total nonsense, you know. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it is real, but I'm skeptical. Bought Disney stock. Where's Disney right now? Disney's been pushing up, right? I'm in Disney currently. And we're up nicely on Disney, but I've already scaled out of it to where I'm only holding 25 shares. And so, I don't know. Yeah, it was a terrible decision. So Pawn said that drop was actually when they announced the password crackdown, which was a horrible decision. Like if you think about it, why in the world would you even announce the password sharing crackdown? Like, to be honest, if I'm Netflix, I'm just going to implement that without saying a word. You know, oh, tell everybody that they can't share it anymore. They'll figure it out. They can't really complain if they figure it out. What are they going to say? Hey, you don't let us steal your product anymore. And so you just implement it. You don't make some big announcement. You don't say a word about it. You know, like, yeah, some media stations are going to pick it up, but the volatility that you're going to get from that is going to be much less than it would be. Is going to be much less than it was when they basically came out publicly with this huge press release of, hey, we're cracking down on password sharing. I don't know if they thought that would make people think their margins were going to improve, and so that would get more shareholders behind the stock, and the stock would go up. But it had the inverse effect to that, and the market just ended up tanking that day from that announcement. Again, which I'm still confused at why they chose to do it that way. But maybe there's some stuff that I just didn't understand about it. I don't know. Elon is going to speak. He must prepare for Mark fight. Yeah, I know him and Mark are going to fight. Who do you guys got in that fight? I got to go with Mark, bro. I think Mark's going to beat Elon up, dude. All right, listen, the reason I think that is because Mark has already been training for like a year. You know, if you look at some of the footage of Mark Zuckerberg, the dude trains. Like, he trains Muay Thai. He trains Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He's been training for a minute now. Even if Elon Musk starts to train as well, and Elon Musk is bigger than him, the difference in skill there is still going to be like a big margin. There's going to be a big margin difference of skill there from Elon to Zuckerberg. And so I think Zuckerberg's going to beat up Elon if they do fight anytime soon. Now, if they give Elon enough time to train, then maybe the size difference will be enough to get it done. But yeah, Mark's also younger. No, we're not going to stream Netflix earnings call. We're going to stream Tesla earnings call as well, which is in a couple minutes. What a snooze fest on Tesla. I guess I should have sold options. Maybe, man. I mean, most things are just quiet right now in anticipation of the earnings call. We had a couple other earnings come out, and you can kind of see the earnings that were released. Netflix bouncing back up a little bit. But yeah, you can kind of see the earnings come out here. You know, I've been snipping this and taking a picture of it and then posting this to Twitter. Sorry, hold on. All right. Go ahead and post this to Twitter. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button as well, guys. We appreciate it. Again, we're over 111K. So we got Alcoa, IBM, Las Vegas Sands, Zion, Discover, and a bunch of other ones. All right, guys, Netflix bouncing up a little bit here. So they are bouncing up some. They are moving some. Tesla back over the 200 EMA, bouncing back up a little bit. Target, what did Target do today? That's one of the most polarized trades I get in. I buy Target, people freak out. I buy Disney, people freak out, but they just look cheap. PE ratio is low. Discover dipping, breaking lows again. Alcoa starting to give it back. Netflix call is going to be 6 p.m. for Netflix. So Netflix, here's the thing about Netflix, right? So generally Netflix comes out. I don't ever really cover or stream this one. And the reason I don't usually typically stream this one is because when Netflix drops, it's just going to be a pre-recorded video. You don't need me to stream the earnings call because the actual earnings call is going to be in a YouTube video that you don't need me to stream. It's just going to be a video, not a YouTube stream, not a website stream or anything like that. It's going to be a YouTube video that you can just watch and skip past. And so all that stuff's going to be analyzed pretty quickly. Anyway, it's not going to be a live call typically like Tesla. And so with Netflix, I'll give you guys the link when it drops, or at least before it drops, most likely during the Tesla earnings call. But it's not something that I'm going to necessarily stream just because I don't need to, if that makes sense. So yeah, Tesla bouncing back a little bit over the 200 EMA, Netflix trying as well. Did you buy AT&T or Verizon on the dip? No, I didn't. What dip? Yeah, it's bouncing back up a little bit. It's at about, it's at under 460s, right under 460s. It's at 530, Stuart. So yeah, it's at 530. About 35 minutes or so. And thanks so much for helping me hit 111,000 subs here. Netflix lost subs. So Netflix here, we'll post this data. So yeah, Netflix. All right, so password sharing crackdown delivers a jolt of new subscriber growth. I only see in the AM. Soft Q3 sales guidance. They see at least $5 billion in FCF for the 2023, up from prior view of at least $3.5 billion. They expect to increase repurchase activity in the second half of the year. U.S. and Canada streaming revenue came in at $3.6 billion for Netflix. Total streaming paid memberships came in at 75.6 million in the U.S. and Canada. All right, so they added 5.9 million new subs. So, I mean, the earnings call for Tesla wasn't all bad. Find your stream the simplest and most interesting. Hey, thanks so much, Antonio. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, it's trying to go. It's consolidating around the 200 EMA. We'll see if it actually continues to hold or not. All right, so again, we got about 30 minutes for the call. Bro, I don't think tea is good for me, man. I drink this tea, I start to get like cold chills. I don't know if tea is good for me, man. Netflix just repricing. If you take out yesterday's huge run, it's a beautiful bull pattern right after the MACD crossover. Yeah, I mean, I think if Netflix can just hold some of these gains, again, they've all made pretty big gains over the last year. I think if they can just hold some of them, they're still doing okay. I'm in my 30s, RJ. Netflix to 400. I don't know, man. Again, give me a follow on Twitter, guys. Again, we post all this news. We post earnings releases. We post like how stocks are doing for earnings. So if you like this channel, again, we stream every weekday on YouTube. Subscribe if you haven't yet. We certainly appreciate it. We also cover a lot of the stuff on Twitter as well. We post a lot of updates, post earnings, post different polls so you can interact with us and engage with the channel. So again, give your boy a follow right there. We appreciate it. I'm self-taught. I didn't go to school for finance, no. I'm mostly I mean, I do a lot of different income streams, to be honest. But yeah, I didn't graduate with a degree in finance. Will the NASDAQ be volatile during the Tesla earnings call? Probably. Tesla makes up like 5% of the NASDAQ. So, I mean, it depends on what you define as volatility. It'll probably move at least a little bit. How much? We don't know. Depends on what they say. Depends on if they announce some big stuff. If they announce the Cybertruck or something like that, they're going to move heavy. But again, it varies. What's Apple doing today? I haven't even really looked at Apple. Apple right under $200. Tested 200 today, man. Crazy gap up for Apple. Apple was up today on... All right, Apple is working on a chat bot to compete with Bard, Bing, and ChatGPT, according to Barron's. This looks like the news that's propping up Apple. Goldman. Apple analysts expect stock to hit 210 on 2024 earnings projections and iPhone delay. Unity Software introduces a beta program for Vision operating system. But yeah, they're basically coming out with their new chat bot. I think that made Apple pop from... Apple was at like 193s. It hit 198s. It's at about 195s right now. My name is John. Apple might hit 3.5 trillion for the end of the month. Maybe it could. Yeah, we'll see if their chatbot is actually like competition for them. We'll see. Carvana gonna squeeze, you think? I don't know, man. I watched Carvana this morning. It's starting to rip up right now, though. If you look at Carvana, it is moving here. So like, look at Carvana. Like, look at this. It's at 56. But it's starting to test the, high from earlier. The pre-market highs are around 58.70, so we still got a little ways to go. They're still like right here, but like here's the pre-market high right there. I think that's a relevant level. So we still got a ways to go, but we're breaking pre-market or we're breaking after hours highs for Carvana, which is a big potential short squeeze. A lot of people are talking about. ETH dropping again. Where's Bitcoin? Bitcoin back over 30K. Looks like it's been there for most of the day today. A little bit of the day at least. All right, guys, about 25 minutes. 25 minutes. ETH liquidation. All right, guys. So again, we got the actual earnings call at 4:30 or 5:30 market time, 4:30 my time, 5:30 market time. So be ready for that. That starts soon. Again, if I don't remember to switch my headphones out before the actual earnings call starts, remind me. Okay, the call starts in about 25 minutes. Just remind me if I forget before the earnings call, like at least 5 minutes before, if you can. I would switch them now, but I want to make sure they have enough juice to last. Tesla didn't buy or sell any Bitcoin, still holding Doge most likely as well. Yeah, Carvana, if it breaks 60, it'll be a straight shot to 75, maybe. Predictions on Netflix at 5:30. I don't know. Netflix doesn't have their earnings call until 6. And so I don't know what they're going to say. It's going to be a video that comes out. I'll give you guys the link when it drops. But as like regarding what they say, I don't know. Look at Carvana pump, though. There's Tesla. Again, it looks like a symmetrical triangle right here. It really does. Or a wedge or whatever you want to call it. Maybe a slight ascending angle on it, but we do see it. Carvana just broke pre-market high or after hours high again. Bitcoin right at 30K. I had plus 4,000 earlier, dumped. Bank of America sell off. Bank of America ripped. Bank of America's opened the day at like 30.7, closed today at like 31.70s, 31.50s. Triangles, you don't really know. Like, I wouldn't really call either one of them bullish or bearish. Usually, like an ascending triangle is good, meaning like it's going up, up, up. But like with triangles, they squeeze support and resistance together until it breaks on one specific side. So it's like squeezing it, like right here. You can kind of see it squeezing. Let me pull this up. You can kind of see it squeezing, getting closer and closer and closer and closer together until it typically breaks on either the upside. It could also break on the downside. You don't really know which way it's going to go, but typically when you squeeze it, traders react to it. The only reason technical patterns actually work is because other people think they work. And so if nobody knew what a technical pattern was, I think like stair-step patterns are psychological in nature, from like hype, momentum, fear. But like as for the rest of the technical patterns, I think you might get a break, but we don't know which side. Hopefully on the upside, but you never know. Carvana up to 58.30s right now, getting ready to test the pre-market high. You see the pre-market high up there right around 59.25 or so. So we'll see if we can break that level. Yeah, all good, RJ. I don't think there'll be any surprises today on the earnings call, right? Not that I know of. I mean, I hope they announce a Cybertruck date, but I don't think they necessarily will. I've seen it break down and then shoot up and vice versa. Yeah, for sure. I wouldn't really say triangles or flags are super reliable. I think the only way to really trade them is if you're in them, like inside, like buying these dips here or like here, and then waiting for like a bounce back up like that makes sense. But again, even that's not guaranteed, and there's just risk. Just be careful. Earnings aren't out for another 20 minutes or so. I have 29.9K. Yeah, it's going to vary depending on your brokerage. I'm using Bitcoin futures to track the price, and so that probably makes them off by at least that. All right, guys. Yeah, I can't drink any more of this tea, man. My stomach is in knots, dude. I don't know if it's just for sitting here so long or what, but stomach is in knots, man. But yeah. Carvana's still trying. Anything else moving today that I missed? I can't remember anything that was. I'm up in Disney. I'm up in SOXS. I'm up in KO. I'm up in Target. Still up in Disney. Bank of America ripped up. I know I see that now. What did the rest of banking do? What did like JP Morgan? Is that 154s? Wells Fargo. 4620s. I have no idea what Disney's going to do for earnings. I tend to like Disney where it's cheap like it is now. So like I tend to like Disney currently because it's in the 80s, and I think that's objectively cheap long term for it. But short term, I have no idea what it's going to do. It might just drop. I have no idea. It might crash, drop. I have no idea. Upstart is also moving with Carvana. Cold tea is bad for you? Is it really? I don't know, man. I know every time I drink green tea, I get nauseous and like my stomach starts to be acidic. Yeah. So Bao, I see. So he said we were talking this morning. Carvana's at 39 and 40. Shame on us. Honestly, I'm past the stage of my trading where I need to jump on the biggest moves of the market. Like I think a lot of new traders they see Carvana move and they get really emotional. And I'm not saying this is you. So again, I'm not pinning this on you. Don't worry. I'm just saying, like in general, I think a lot of times people look at big moves like this and they get so disappointed that they didn't catch the big move because it's kind of like FOMO, right? They have fear of missing out. They want to catch the big move. And then when they see it make big moves without them, they get really emotional and like really hypercritical on themselves. And then they end up being a lot more loose with the rest of their positions that day because they're desperate to win back the money they could have made on the big crazy squeeze or whatever it is. I think eventually you start to grow as a trader to where you stop being so worried about catching every move. And if you watch the market every day, you start to learn there's always a move to get into. There's always something you can trade. There's always going to be a play at hand. And if you beat yourself up too much, every time you miss these type of moves, you're always going to be upset. And it's going to make you really emotional as a trader where you're just constantly trying to win back moves that you missed and all that stuff. I think that's what wraps a lot of people into like buying AMC and GameStop, is because they're so worried about missing out, and they're not really looking at it to where it's like AMC's dropping huge percentages year after year, but yet they're still just kind of holding on and hoping it goes up because they're so worried about missing out that they ignore logic. And so with Carvana, I see it rip it up, and I think Carvana's got a chance. I mean, Carvana was at like 3 something earlier in the year, but I'm not really super bummed I missed it. The last time I was actually trading Carvana, and believe it or not, I had bought it at like $8 or $9, and I wrote it up to like 15, I remember. And if I would have held it from back then, I would be up a huge amount right now. But it's not really my style of trade. The risk that I'm taking to get those gains is just not worth, me sitting on it like that. Not worth the potential reward from it, if that makes sense. Hey, what's up, Joe? Same for me. Does it suck? Yes, but the risk of it dropping 10%. Yeah, for sure. You can make money. You could also lose a lot of money. Yeah, rest in peace. Upstart was called dead, and it wasn't, with 40% short interest, 340% move from last earnings. That's some momentum. Yeah, there's a lot of these stocks that have started to come back up. A lot of them are still down on the year or two period that we're analyzing them on, but they have made a lot of comebacks recently. Who drinks cold tea? I do, man. I have to drink cold tea. I like drinking warm. I'm too impatient to drink hot tea. Like, I don't want to pour something and then have to sit there for 10 minutes holding my cup waiting to drink it. I'm too impatient for that, man. Just give me the cold tea. Throw some ice cubes in there. Don't go chasing waterfalls. Stick to the rivers and lakes that you're used to. All right, look at Carvana. Over 60s right now, guys. Over 60. Still waiting for Tesla to do something. Cold sweet tea is the way. Yeah, I mean, or whatever tea. I don't think my stomach can handle acidic stuff, and so I think that's why I struggle with it. I don't think it depends on the type of tea. I tried green tea, I get sick. I tried other tea. I could drink coffee mostly without feeling like this, and so maybe I should just drink coffee next time. But Larry Jones posted a video. He's buying puts on Carvana. I think Bulldog Trading came in here and said he was buying, I think it was Carvana. Again, I'm not really against either one, but we'll see if that works out. There's apparent tea time in each day where it's the law to drink tea at that time and register that you're on the way to get a tea. They fine you if you miss tea time. That can't be real, huh? It can't be real, right? I know, like, in the UK, and again, I should know this. Like, again, my last name's London, literally London, London. So I should know this, but I'm not really a big tea drinker. You would think with the British DNA that I have that I would be able to handle tea better than I can, but I try to drink tea, I'm nauseous, Coffee's fine. So, America, yeah. But I can't handle tea, man. Puts tomorrow. We'll see what the market does tomorrow. The reason I'm worried about options is because a lot of the time with options, you got to wait until the opening bell to cut those positions. That's a lot of risk. And I think if you if you have a large enough account, adding that risk where you can't sell until 9:30 in the morning is just unnecessary. Like, I could just buy or hold shares if I really want to take positions. I don't need to buy options. Like, if you don't have that much money and your buying power is small and you want more bang for your buck, sure, trade options. I'm not hating on it. I think there's a lot of opportunities in options. But if you have a large enough account, there's no reason to restrict yourself from being able to sell until 9:30. I think that's a really risky thing. Unless you're taking like long-term trades. That's a different story. But I guess it depends on the trader. Yeah, I'm related to him, Justin. London Bridge, I was down 60% on Upstart, and now I'm up 80%. That was a ride, but to me, it was obvious they had enough cash and a good business model to survive the bad times. They were almost valued at their cash level. Yeah, I remember they had a bunch of cash, and I remember I was skeptical of Carvana at like 3s. All right, let's look at the poll numbers. We did some polls here. Right now, about 900 votes. We asked people, does Tesla break 300 before the end of the week? 74% say yes. 26% say no. Should have done another poll on Twitter. Celestial Herbal Tea. Does anybody know what they're gonna do with the Guardians of the Galaxy movies? Like, I watched the last one with my family yesterday, and they say it's the end of what's his face on the show. Are they gonna have more Guardians of the Galaxy movies with Rocket and the rest of them, or is the whole squad done? Like, is Vin Diesel and Groot done? Is decaffeinated tea that might do the trick? Yeah, but then what's the point, though? I mean, honestly, I'm only drinking caffeine. Listen, I don't really like tea for the taste. I like tea because it gives me energy. And so, if there's no coffee, if there's no caffeine in it, I can't get behind decaf coffee. I don't know what the point of drinking coffee is that doesn't have caffeine in it. I guess if you've acquired the taste of coffee over your life, when you finally aren't able to drink caffeine, you can still have coffee. I guess I understand that. But if I can't handle tea, I probably just won't drink tea anymore, you know. Chai tea, that's around what the bull bear mix is. This is rare because that's when bulls are this high around market. Keep going up. Yeah, we'll see. Carvana's still moving over 60, about at 61 right now for Carvana. Let's take a look at Netflix here. We still got 13 minutes, guys. 13 minutes. Netflix still consolidating, has dipped a little bit. We do have a somewhat of like a flag wedge pattern that I can see here. Look, so we do have that. Oh yeah, I gotta switch out my headphones. All right. All right, guys, hold on 1 second. I'll be right back. If you haven't already, guys, subscribe yet. Hit the notification bell. We appreciate it. Hit the sub button. Hit the notification bell, guys. All right. Here, hold on. That's what the market maker wanted. We're waiting for 12 minutes to pass. That's what the market makers wanted. ETH, yeah, I heard ETH is tanking. Tesla call. I know the music probably stopped. I'm switching my headphones out. Yeah, the call's at 5:30. ETH dip at 18. Where's ETH at now? Hold on, baby. Here, hold on, guys, 1 second. All right, guys, we are back up. Let me make sure these. Let me make sure we can actually get this in. Hold on. There we go. Is the music still playing? All right, guys, we got. My headphones are in. Where's the music? Can y'all hear the music? Let me reset this, I guess. Doesn't matter anyway too much. All right, there we go. Let me know if you can hear the music now. You should be able to. I just want to make sure y'all can hear the music. That's gonna dictate whether y'all can hear the actual earnings call as well. I hear a lot of people talking about ETH. ETH is down to low levels. Hypotenuse triangle. Yeah. Doesn't Tesla usually tank around earnings regardless if they beat? It's never like a given thing. If it was that easy, everybody would be rich. But maybe to a certain extent, there's a correlation there. Bro removed his triangle technical analysis. Yeah, man, the greatest triangle drawer in the world right now. Look at this perfect, amazing triangle. Look at that triangle, bro. That's like about the most perfect triangle. Look at that thing, man. Top 3 triangles in the world right there for sure. Honestly, it's really not a bad triangle. Honestly, you know. If you're hiring triangle drawers, hit your boy up. We'll see what happens. But Netflix bouncing at 450s here. 450s. See if it holds. Earnings call scheduled to start in 9 minutes, guys. 9 minutes. ETH dip. Yeah, I think market makers want to sink. Hey, nice shepherd. All right, so we'll see if Bitcoin can hold these levels here. Earnings call starts, and again, 7 minutes, guys. 7 minutes. Again, sound check. Y'all can hear this, right? Y'all can hear the sound. Y'all can hear the music, right? Yeah, John Madden. All right, Tesla dipping down a little bit though. Look, so here's the daily tick. We're at 190. Look at this. So this is one of the things I like about Moomoo. And again, if you want to try out Moomoo, you can see the link pinned at the top of the chat. You can get up to 15 or up to 16 free stocks if you open up an account and deposit. But look at this tick chart. This is a tick chart. Look at this. So if you want to see like the real quick price action. Interesting. Starting to dip down a little bit though for Tesla. Down at 291.49, right around 291.50. All right, good. The Tesla talks in India are going to be insane. Such an untapped market. Benzinga shows Tesla beating earnings. Yeah, they did beat earnings. Here's their earnings report right here. So they posted 91-cent profit EPS versus 82-cent estimates. And if you don't know what EPS is profitability. And so better than expected EPS means the company was more profitable than they expected. They showed revenue of $24.93 billion. They expected 24.48. So another beat on revenue. Obviously, revenue is how much income they're bringing in. EPS is the profitability margins on that income. And again, you can kind of see they came in better than expected. Gross profit margin did go down about 680 basis points to about 18.2%. To about 18.2%. But yeah, the procedure of earnings, I think a lot of people don't understand it. Okay, so earnings typically drop. There's two different sessions for earnings releases. One of them is in the morning, so you'll have at market open earnings. So you'll have at pre-market open earnings. So you'll have earnings that drop anywhere between like 4. Usually it's at like 6:15, 6, 7, 8 a.m. So you have morning earnings that release in the morning, and then the earnings call usually be anywhere between like 8:30 and 9. And then you have aftermarket earnings, which drop in the aftermarket session, which is after 4 p.m. Right? Tesla is one of those aftermarket earnings, and so the actual earnings report, the numbers, are going to drop right at 4:05 today. They dropped right at 4:05 p.m. today, Eastern Standard Time. An hour and a half later, you get the earnings call that drops, which is in 6 minutes, right? That's when the CEO gets on the phone. So one of them is a report that just details their numbers. The other one's an actual call where the CEO and other people get on board on the call and talk about what they did during the last quarter, as well as there's usually a Q&A section at the end. That is what starts at about 5 minutes, just to give you some perspective on like the difference between an earnings report and an earnings call. This is an earnings call that starts at 6 minutes. The earnings are out. You can read them right below here. That's when, yeah, we'll see. If Bitcoin sees 28K, it sees much lower. Maybe. I don't know. I think 25K is probably some pretty big psychological support. 30K has been a pretty big support as well. We've been back and forth between 30K and 32K for the last like couple months for for Bitcoin. All right, guys. Waiting for the Tesla earnings call. The duck song. All right, so all right, I'm gonna mute the music real quick just so I can make sure I got the call set up and ready. All right, so yeah, earnings call starts in about 3.5 minutes. I'm gonna close this. 3.5 minutes. Yeah, all good, Joe. Looks like the downside on Nvidia Tech. How's Nvidia doing from this earnings call? So Nvidia currently at 470s. Had a red day, but it's not like a super red day. And Nvidia's had some crazy big gains over the last couple months. So a little bit of a red day, but not ton. Previous closing price for Nvidia was at about 475. We're at about 470.50, so like $4.50 per share in losses on Nvidia. But again, when the stock's almost $500, it's just a small percentage. What is that, like 1% drop today for Nvidia? Not the worst. Every week, I think Nvidia can't go any higher. I mean, I get it, dude, but I get it. The question is, how much does AI influence the company's profit? That's the real question. Does like AI influence their profit heavily? If so, what does that look like? What do their numbers look like? Does it hold the gains it's made? If it does, what does that mean for PE ratios? All right, guys, less than 2 minutes. We got about 1,100 people here. Again, we will be streaming the full earnings call live in progress. We got about a minute and a half left. Make sure you hit the play button or the live button next to the play button. You want to make sure that your live button looks like so. Um, Hold on, sorry. You want to make sure your live button looks like this. You want to make sure it's red like this. If your live button is not red, you are not called up on the stream. You are not fully live listening to the earnings call. If it's gray, it's not live. You want to make sure this earnings call, this live button is red. And if it's not, click it. Click the live button. It'll catch you right back up on the stream. Earnings call's about to start. We got 1 minute, guys. 1 minute. Make sure you're called up. And yeah, call's about to start right now. Again, if you haven't already, check out Top Step funded account program for futures. Great way to day trade. There's no PDT rule in futures. You can day trade the S&P, the Nasdaq, and they basically look at that. You can see like Tesla, and you can see the Nasdaq right here, and see how similar they are in terms of price action and movement. And you can day trade futures with no PDT rule. Like, look, here's the Nasdaq. Let's unlock like Tesla, but the patterns are similar. You can day trade it in futures with no PDT rule. And Top Step's the most legit funded program in the world. You got limited risk. Base package is $49. If you lose, it's not the end of the world. If you're good enough to pass it, they give you a demo. They test your skill. They fund you between 50K up to 150K with a 90% split. They pay out millions, fund thousands of traders a year. Check them out. The sale's not going to last forever. I think it's $49 for the base combine right now. So pretty cheap. They are a sponsor of mine. They pay me money. I'm biased for sure in their favor, but check them out. The earnings call starts very soon, and I'm going to go ahead and mute this music, and let's listen to it. All right. Well, I'll tell you this: the hold music, they still haven't started yet. Like they're still behind, but the hold music is terrible. Sounds like I walked in the movie Tron right now. Yeah. Listen, say AI, say Cybertruck debut. That's the two keywords you want to hear: Cybertruck and AI today, guys. That's what you want to hear: Cybertruck and AI. We'll see if they do. I got my headphones switched. I appreciated TV, but yeah, I'm good, dude. I switched them already, bro. Uh, Again, we're waiting for it to start. We're live. We're caught up. We're just waiting for this to start. Hasn't started yet. All right, still waiting here. We're live on the call. Nothing out yet. Again, I'm just waiting. I'm going to unmute it whenever the call starts so you guys can actually hear it. Disney close to 52-week low. Yeah, I mean that's usually where I buy it though when it's around lows. We ended up actually taking profit on it. Our average price on Disney right now is 85.88, and currently it is at 87s or so. All right, I think they're about to start.
Everyone, and welcome to Tesla's second quarter 2023 Q&A webcast.
All right, sound
My name
check.
is Martin Viecha, VP of Investor Relations, and I'm joined today by Elon Musk, Zachary Kirkhorn, and a number of
Elon
other
is there.
executives. Our Q2 results were announced at about 3 p.m. Central Time in the update deck we publish at the same link as this webcast.
Sound check.
During this call, we will discuss our business outlook and make forward-looking statements. These comments are based on our predictions and expectations as of today. Actual events or results could differ materially due to a number of risks and uncertainties, including those mentioned in our most recent filings with the SEC. During the question and answer portion of today's call, please limit yourself to one question and one follow-up. Please use the raise hand button to join the question queue. But before we jump into the Q&A, Elon has some opening remarks. Elon?
Thank you, Martin. So just a Q2 recap. In Q2, we achieved record vehicle production and deliveries and record revenue of about $25 billion in a single quarter. And Model Y became the best-selling vehicle of any kind globally in Q1, surpassing the likes of Corolla and Golf. So it was the number one vehicle of any kind, including vehicles that are sell at a far lower price. This is, I think, an incredible achievement by the Tesla team, and just a huge thank you to our customers for their support. This came in spite of high interest rates and a lot of macro uncertainty, and nonetheless, we managed to achieve operating margin of about 10%. We continue to target 1.8 million vehicle deliveries this year, although we expect that Q3 production will be a little bit down because we've got summer shutdowns for a lot of factory upgrades. Just probably a slight decrease in production in Q3 for sort of global factory upgrades. In the long term, autonomy, we think, is going to just drive volume through the ceiling next level. And our sort of future robotaxi products, dedicated robotaxi products, we think have like quasi-infinite demand. The way we're going to manufacture the robotaxi is also itself a revolution. And so it's a revolutionary design made in a revolutionary way. It'll be by far the highest units per hour of any vehicle production ever. So we're very excited about that. With respect to Autopilot and Dojo, in order to build autonomy, we also need to train our neural net with data from millions of vehicles. This has been proven over and over again. The more training data you have, the better the results. There are times where we see basically in a neural net, basically it's sort of at 1 million training examples, it barely works. At 2 million, it slightly works. At 3 million, it's like, wow, okay, we're seeing something. But then you get to like 10 million training examples. It's like it becomes incredible. There's just no substitute for a massive amount of data. And obviously Tesla has more vehicles on the road that are collecting this data than all other companies combined by, I think, maybe even an order of magnitude. So I think we might have 90% of all, or a very big number. So the success in AI endeavors is a function of talent, sort of unique data, and computing resources, and we have outstanding capabilities in all three arenas. And I really just don't know how anyone could do what we're doing, even if they had our software and had our computer, if they did not have the training data. So, speaking of which, our Dojo training computer is designed to significantly reduce the cost of neural net training. It is designed to it's somewhat optimized for the kind of training that we need, which is video training. So, we just see that the need for neural net training, again, talking about quasi-infinite things, is just enormous. So I think we expect to use both NVIDIA and Dojo, to be clear. But we just see a demand for really vast training resources. And we think we may reach in-house neural net training capability of 100 exaflops by the end of next year. So to date, over 300 million miles have been driven using FSD beta. That 300 million mile number is going to seem very small very quickly. It'll soon be billions of miles, then tens of billions of miles. And FSD will go from being as good as a human to then being vastly better than a human. We see a clear path to full self-driving being 10 times safer than the average human driver. So, and between Autopilot, our Dojo computer, our inference hardware in the car, which we call sort of hardware 3, 4, but it's really dedicated. It's a high efficiency inference computer that's in the car, and our Optimus robot. Tesla is clearly at the cutting edge of AI development. With regard to our Cybertruck, we continue to build release candidates of the Cybertruck on our final production line in Austin. I'm actually here in Austin at the Gigafactory. This is the first truck that we're aware of that will have 4 doors over a 6-foot bed and will fit into a 20-foot garage. So it's sort of biggish on the outside, but it's even bigger on the inside. So I think that's one of the elements of good design is it should feel bigger on the inside than it looks on the outside. And this is no small car, but we really cared about the exterior dimensions of the Cybertruck down to the last millimeter. So it's just we try to get right in the middle of the Goldilocks zone, not too big, not too small, and then really maximize the utility of the volume. And we can't wait to start delivering it later this year. Some other highlights: our global supercharging network now stands at over 50,000, roughly 50,000 connectors and over 5,000 locations. As I think a lot of people are aware, the Tesla Tesla charging standard, which we made open source, and is now called the North American Charging Standard. We're deeply honored that Ford, GM, Mercedes, and many other OEMs have signed up to use our connector and gain access to our charging network. We strongly believe in helping other car companies to accelerate the EV revolution and just trying to do the right thing in general. So that's our goal there. Then something I think I want to emphasize very, very strongly, this is a very important point, is that Tesla, just as with the North American Charging Standard, although we're not licensing, in that case, we're not licensing, we're just making it available. But we are very open to licensing our full self-driving software and hardware to other car companies. And we are already in discussions with early discussions with a major OEM about using the Tesla FSD. We're not trying to keep this to ourselves. We're more than happy to license it to others. And lastly, our new lithium refinery and cathode facility are progressing well. Then in conclusion, we continue to focus on making as many cars as we can while maintaining healthy financials. Our artificial intelligence development is obviously entering a new era, and we're incredibly excited about what's to come. Our other businesses, such as Megapack, supercharging, service, and whatnot, all started to become a meaningful contributor to overall profitability this quarter. And then lastly, I'd just like to profusely thank all of our employees who are making a lot of extra effort during uncertain times. Thank you very much for your hard work and the impact you're making.
Thank you very much, Elon. And I think Zach has some opening remarks as well.
Yeah, thanks, Martin. As Elon mentioned, Q2 was another record quarter of production and deliveries, as well as records in profit for our energy and services and other businesses. Congratulations again to the Tesla team on the continued progress. As we navigate through a period of economic uncertainty, rising interest rates, volatility in consumer confidence, and regulatory change, I want to comment on our financial approach. First, the single most important priority is to ensure we are continuing to invest heavily in the core technologies that will drive the long-term value of the business. This includes increasing spending on AI-related technologies such as full self-driving, Optimus, and Dojo, as well as new products such as Cybertruck, our next-generation platform, and the Semi, as evidenced by the continued growth in our R&D spend. This also includes continuing our investments in capacity expansion, not only in our vehicle factories, but also our supercharging network, service, internal applications, and battery processes, as we continue with meaningful capital expenditures to lay this foundation for the future. Second, we continue to work towards our goals of maximizing volumes on both our vehicle and energy business, but most importantly, doing so in a way that generates the capital to continue our pace of R&D and capital investments. This requires a strong focus on per unit COGS reductions in each of our key businesses, as well as working capital improvements on raw materials, work in process inventory, and customer AR, all of which progressed appropriately in Q2. If we look specifically at our automotive business, our gross margin showed a modest reduction and remained healthy, despite action taken to further improve vehicle affordability early in the quarter. We realized per unit cost improvements in nearly every category, including material cost and commodities, manufacturing costs, and logistics, while also continuing to rapidly increase the build rate in our Austin and Berlin factories. For our energy business, we improved margins and gross profit, driven by cost reductions and deal economics, particularly with Megapack. As a reminder, storage volumes are typically volatile sequentially based on the types of projects and their specific revenue recognition milestones. As we look forward to the rest of the year, I want to reiterate Elon's comments on Q3 volumes, driven by planned downtimes for factory upgrades. These upgrades will also carry some amount of factory idle cost. However, we are working to minimize as much as possible. It's also important to keep in mind the uncertainty in the macro environment, which can impact our execution positively or negatively in the near term. Regardless, we continue to remain dynamic with a focus on fundamental efficiency and a long-term outlook. Congratulations again to everybody on a great quarter.
Thank you very much, Zach. And let's go to investor questions. The first question on licensing FSD we've already answered, so let's go to the second one. The second question is, what is the status of 4680 cells? How far are you from the specs you laid out on Battery Day? When do you expect to achieve what you laid out on Battery Day?
Yeah, first I'll just start with a little bit of a production update. So in Texas, 4680 cell production increased 80% Q2 over Q1, and the team surpassed 10 million production cells produced here in Texas. So congrats to the team for that. Their focus on yield reduced our scrap bill by 40% quarter over quarter, and that resulted in a 25% reduction in cell COGS. Here in Texas, we're preparing to launch our Cybertruck cell, which is 10% higher energy density than current production. That was accomplished through process and mechanical design optimization. As we scale Cyber cell production through the end of the year and early next, we should be in a comfortable place on cost per cell. Against our battery energy density targets, the cyber cell is at our expectations on a like-for-like electrochemistry basis. We're yet to integrate silicon or in-house cathode production, both reviewed on Battery Day, which do bring significant further energy density and cost improvements, but that is a topic for another day. Lastly, it is important to remember that most of what we focused on at Battery Day was the Tesla-engineered 4680 production system and the improvements we strove to achieve on equipment, factory density, capital cost, and utility cost reduction, all of which we are realizing in our Texas scale-up to date.
Thank you very much. The next question is, can you talk more to the upcoming Tesla energy products and how your thinking has evolved on the revenue model? Given Tesla's AI capabilities, how do you see the long-term mix between hardware margin and recurring software margin from Autobidder as this segment accelerates?
We can't comment on future product roadmap, but I can provide a quick energy Q2 update. Megapack continues to show strong demand globally, with Lathrop ramping successfully to meet our contracted projects in 2023. As stated last quarter, Megapack margins are in a reasonable place in line with our target market, vehicle target margins. The second final assembly line at Lathrop is progressing on schedule, eventually doubling Lathrop capacity ahead of our full factory ramp in 2024. We have several exciting large projects in construction or nearing completion, including the KES project in Hawaii, the Riverina project in Australia, several projects in California, and one here at Gigafactory Texas that I toured today, actually. We want to thank our customers, utilities, and grid operators for trusting us with these projects. On the Autobidder question, we continue to grow Autobidder contracts in wholesale markets like Australia, Texas, UK, and California with over 6 gigawatt hours under Tesla's dispatch next year. In the UK, our projects performed best in the industry in Q2. Autobidder does have software margins and is an enabler for hardware sales, but it's a relatively small contributor to revenues given how much deployment growth on the Megapack hardware side is occurring. It's important to remember that these large capital projects have lifetimes of 20 years, so recurring revenues on an annualized basis relative to upfront CapEx are small. On the residential side, we have some fun things happening. We recently surpassed 500,000 Powerwalls installed. Just this week, we are launching Charge on Solar, which allows Tesla Powerwall and vehicle customers to charge their vehicles using their excess solar and drive only on the sunshine that hits their roof. Yesterday, we began paying customers in Texas for participating in our virtual power plant to provide grid support to ERCOT. We expect these credits to lower our median customers' annual bill by a third and to increase these credits over time as ERCOT expands market access. And today, we are expanding Tesla Electric enrollment to new Model 3 owners in Texas, followed by all Texas vehicle customers over the rest of the quarter. Unfortunately, and somewhat similar to Tesla Insurance, bringing Tesla Electric and VPP capabilities to our customers requires working through a fractured regulatory environment on a jurisdiction-by-jurisdiction basis. In the long run, the value of residential energy software and hardware will be driven by the level of market access that utilities, market operators, and regulators permit. Where Powerwall is eligible to provide the full stack of energy services, like peaker capacity and system buffering, such as in Australia, we can more than double the value of ownership relative to a typical system today.
Thank you very much. The next question is, could you quantify the benefits to COGS per unit from the IRA battery manufacturing incentives? And secondly, battery raw material declines year to date.
All right, I can take that. On the first part of the question for IRA manufacturing incentives, we provided previous guidance that we expect these to be for the course of this year in the range of 150 million to 250 million per quarter. We are staying within that boundary as we guided previously, so that was the case in Q2 as well. I will note, I think we've mentioned this before, that this includes a 50-50 sharing of credits for qualified cells from our long-term battery partner, Panasonic. On the commodity side, we are continuing to see improvements there, as we've discussed previously. Lithium is the most notable improvement so far. I think I commented on this on the last call, because typically we see this coming about a quarter before it actually is realized in our financials. And also, just as a reminder, we're not fully exposed to the price of lithium. Our supply chain team has done a terrific job in partnership with a bunch of other companies to put in place some long-term agreements here, but we do have some exposure that moves up and down. We're also seeing benefits in aluminum and steel, which I think is great. Not as large as the lithium impacts, but they contribute nonetheless. So if we add up the total impact of this in Q2 relative to prior quarter, it's about the same size and magnitude as the IRA benefits that we also received. Just to put this in context, as you look at COGS per unit sequentially from Q1 to Q2, I think there's two things to keep in mind there. The first is that our SX mix for deliveries increased quite a bit from Q1 to Q2. So as you think about fundamental cost reductions, it's important to adjust for that. And then secondly, as we continue to work on reducing our Austin and Berlin costs, which we did quite a bit of that from Q1 to Q2, these factories are still slightly above Model Y production costs elsewhere. And in the quarter, our mix of Austin and Berlin related builds increased. And so that's something to consider as you model out the impact from Q1 to Q2 in terms of COGS per unit. I do want to ask Karin if there's anything else on the commodity side or just more generally you want to add here.
Yeah, as you mentioned, Zach, we've naturally been a little bit hedged from the lithium position because of the long-term contracts we have in place. But we have seen reduction in pricing across the board for all commodities that specifically go into batteries, such as nickel, cobalt, and graphite. And the reductions in pricing translate into thousands of dollars when you look at it from a per vehicle impact. We're taking advantage to extend some of those fixed price contracts through the end of the decade. So it's a playbook that we'll continue to kind of go back to as we look to the future.
Thank you. The next question on FSD. Have you considered allowing FSD transferability as a lever to allow existing customers to upgrade to a new Tesla instead of being locked into an existing car due to the price of FSD?
Yeah, this is a question we get asked a lot. So we're excited to announce that for Q3, we will be allowing transfer of FSD. This is a one-time amnesty. So it needs to be you need to take advantage of it in Q3, but or at least place the order in Q3 within reasonable delivery timeframes. I hope this makes people happy. But we're not going to do it. This is a one-time thing. Okay.
Right. The next question: When will you give more information about the Cybertruck orders, estimated delivery schedules, pricing, and specifications?
The demand is so far off the hook you can't even see the hook. So that's really not an issue. I do want to emphasize that the Cybertruck has a lot of new technology in it, like a lot. It doesn't look like any other vehicle because it is not like any other vehicle. And the production ramp will move as fast as the slowest and least lucky element of the entire supply chain and internal production. So I wouldn't expect I hope it's smooth. We're certainly better at production ramps than we've got a lot of experience with production ramps, but first order approximation is there's like 10,000 unique parts and processes in the Cybertruck, and if any one of it'll go as fast as the least lucky, least well executed element of the 10,000. So always very difficult to predict the ramp initially, but I think we'll be making them in high volume next year, and we will be delivering the car this year.
Thank you. The next question is: critics of gigacasting contended that process makes vehicles harder and more costly to repair, essentially pushing costs onto the customer. Could you share some details about the initial repair experience with gigacast vehicles?
That must be why everyone's copying us.
Yeah, thanks, Elon. This is Lars. And Martin, that's like simply not true. There's a misconception that traditional bodies are easy to repair, but they're made of multiple materials and multiple joining methods. Spot welds and rivets have to be drilled out. Panels and structural adhesive have to be chiseled out. Dried adhesive has to be removed. Stampings cut, blah, blah, blah.
It's a crazy patchwork quilt.
Yeah, and so putting that back together means time and money. Using an example of replacing a rear cast rail on a Model Y, to do that versus like what we replaced it with from the Model 3. It's 10 times cheaper and 3 times faster to do it with the cast rail. My design team works with our collision repair team since we're closed loop on this with insurance, and we design specific parts that will make it easier and faster to repair. And we have an incentive to do that because we have our own insurance and our own body shops. We expect that we'll continue to do this, and collision repair will continue to become cheaper and faster over time. And we already make this available to all body shops through our Tesla-approved body shop training.
Yeah, closing the loop on collision repair and factoring that into design is a big deal.
It's crucial. I don't think anyone else can do it with the ecosystem that we have. So
Yeah, and we are actually able to change the details of the casting with inserts, and we actually do that all the time. So because the inserts actually wear out and need to be replaced anyway, so we can actually make design changes to the inserts and tweak the castings. But the casting, basically, a cast rear body or front body is lighter, cheaper, better for noise, vibration, and harshness, much easier to manufacture, and it's better in every way. And that's why so many other car companies are copying us. Because
probably
they don't know they certainly put out a lot of press releases about it. I think it's basically going to be how all cars are made in the future.
Thank you. Next question. How many Optimus bots have been made, and when will they be able to start performing useful tasks?
10 million. Yeah, I think we're around 5 or 6 bots. We're like 10, I guess. Yeah, it depends on which, how many are working in what phase. But it's sort of there's more every month. There's a lot of interesting things about the Optimus bot. We found that there are actually no suppliers that can produce the actuators. There are no off-the-shelf actuators that work well for a humanoid robot at any price.
Certainly not compelling humanoid robot.
Yes, not a humanoid robot that can do stuff that the things that a human could do. So we've actually had to design our own actuators that integrate the motor, the power electronics, the controller, the sensors, and really every one of them is a custom design. And then of course we'll be using the same inference hardware as the car. But we are in designing these actuators, designing them for volume production. So they're not just lighter, tighter, more capable than any other actuators that we're aware of that exist in the world. There's also actually manufacturable. So we should be able to make them in volume. The first Optimus that will have all of the Tesla designed actuators, sort of production candidate actuators, integrated and working should be around November-ish. And then we'll start ramping up after that. In terms of when we'll be able to do some useful things, we'll first be trying this out in our own factories and just proving out its utility. But I think we'll be able to have it do something useful in our factories sometime next year. I would be, I'm pretty confident of that. So yeah, and it's going well. I should say another cool thing about Optimus is that there's just in the US alone there are 2 million amputees, and I was just talking to the Neuralink team, and by combining a Neuralink implant and a robotic arm or leg for someone that has had their arm or leg or all arms and legs amputated, we believe we can give you basically a cyborg body that is incredibly capable. $6 million man in real life. but don't cost $6 million. $60,000 man. It sounds impressive, but it'll actually, so that actually could be a really, I think would be incredible to, potentially help millions of people around the world, and give them, a robot armor like that is as good, maybe long term better than a biological one.
Thank you. The next question is, how has the order intake trended relatively to production levels during Q2? And how is it trended in the quarter to date period? Conceptually, how does Tesla decide when is it appropriate to reduce prices or add other sales incentives to increase demand?
Yeah, I guess demand is roughly tracked production. Which is what we aim for, we look at, something that we have that really, I think no other car maker has, is that we have real-time demand and real-time production. 7 days a week, I get an email, auto-generated email that shows output from all factories and orders globally. So it's like a real-time finger on the pulse of Earth, basically. And we adjust course according to what the mood of the public is. But buying a new car is a big decision for the vast majority of people. So, anytime there's economic uncertainty, people generally pause on new car buying, at least to see what happens. And then obviously another challenge is the interest rate environment. As interest rates rise, the affordability of anything bought with debt decreases. So effectively increasing the price of the car. So when interest rates rise dramatically, we actually have to reduce the price of the car because the interest payments increase the price of the car. And this is at least up until recently, it was I believe the sharpest interest rate rise in history. So we had to do something about that. And if somebody's got a crystal ball for the global economy, I really appreciate it if I could borrow that crystal ball.
DM us.
Yeah, exactly. DM me on Twitter. It should be a note on Twitter. One day it seems like the world economy is falling apart, and the next day everything's fine. I don't know what the hell's going on. To be totally frank, I wish I did. That's why I say, like, I always, on Twitter I posted, like, just really advising, because I care a lot about the sort of the small shareholders, especially ones that have stuck with us through thick and thin. I love you guys, and we can't control these macro shocks, or the manic depressive nature of the stock market. So that's why I recommend against margin loans in times that are turbulent. If times are not that turbulent, actually a margin loan can be a smart move within reason. But we're in, I would call it, turbulent times. I have very high confidence in the long-term value of Tesla. I see a really, see a path to a 10x. Well, maybe not these days, but they'll call it a 5x increase in the value of the company, maybe a 10x. But where things go along the way, the trials and tribulations and the mood of the markets, one cannot predict. And so, the old adage of buy and hold is right. For investment advice, I say, like, identify a company whose products you love. See if they, does it seem like they'll continue to make good products or great products? Buy that stock and hold it. That's it. You will win. The reason companies exist is to make goods and services, ideally great goods and services. They don't exist for any other reason. They shouldn't. So that's why you should buy stock of a company that makes great products and has a great future pipeline. It's common sense, actually. And then generally, if you provided you're confident about what that company's products or services are, when the market panics, buy, and when the market is, overly exuberant, you can sell. I'm not recommending you sell Tesla, but buy low, sell high. Warren Buffett actually, I think, has a saying. I'm paraphrasing him, but a publicly traded company is like, it's like imagine you're living in your house and some crazy manic depressive guy comes and stands at the outside your house and yells property prices at you. So it's a different price every day. But the house is still the same house. So this is a stock market. Credit that to Warren Buffett.
Thank you. Let's go to the next question. With the emphasis of price cuts to drive volume growth eating into automotive gross margin, can investors expect to see automotive gross margin stabilize or even rise due to efficiencies outpacing the cuts? And if so, when?
Oh, man. Where's that crystal ball again? If I may, it's like, look, the short-term variances in gross margin and profitability really are minor relative to the long-term picture. Autonomy will make all of these numbers look silly. I'd recommend looking at ARK Invest. I think their analysis is very good. The best, and generally, FinTwit or like the finance, the smart finance people on Twitter follow their accounts. They're great. That's that's in my opinion where you'll get the best info. I strongly believe Tesla is an epic long-term investment, and don't sweat it when things go up and down. In fact, if the market panics, buy. If the market's a little too exuberant, sell at the time. But just generally, like I feel confident. We will deliver over the long term, but can't control short term. So, and its autonomy is really where it's at. Zach, what do you?
Oh, I fully agree with you. I think the only thing in the short term that matters is what I said in my opening remarks, which is, are we generating enough money to continue to invest? And, the portfolio of products and technologies that the technical teams are investing in right now, this is intense. It's intense in terms of investment. It's intense in terms of potential.
Frankly, I think it's ridiculous that we have positive free cash flow in a capital-intensive business while investing massive amounts of money in new technology. That is super hard.
And vertical integration. It's not even just like new products, but also.
Yeah, we actually make our shit.
Yeah.
We don't.
And so,
to others, but. Sorry, in person, boarding school.
And so, at least from my perspective, what matters is continuing to generate the cash to invest. That means continuing to be hyper-focused on near-term cost reduction, because everything we do in near-term cost reduction provides capital to reinvest. Hyper-focused on working capital management, of which we've made quite a bit of progress there on the raw materials and WIP side of that. We've been very focused on accounts receivables as well to ensure that we can continue to reinvest the cash. That this is what we're focused on.
Yeah.
And, so there's, a set of this that we control. We have a pipeline of cost reductions. We are getting tailwinds in the commodity space right now, as Karn mentioned. That's helpful. Variability around average selling prices, goes back to Elon's point. We don't control interest rates. We don't control macro consumer sentiment. But we have an obligation to be responsive to that, to ensure that we're matching supply and demand and keeping things balanced. And so this is how we're managing the next handful of quarters. Soon enough, these quarters will be behind us. They won't be part of the present value of future cash flows of the business. And so we want to make sure we keep that view and make sure that the long term of the business is exactly the way that we want it to be.
Well said. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much. And now let's go to analyst questions. The first question comes from Dan Levi from Barclays. Dan, feel free to unmute yourself.
Great. Good evening. Thank you. Wanted to start first with a question about your efforts in AI and Dojo. It's pretty clear. It sounds like you're accelerating your focus. Can you maybe provide us with a sense of what the process is of refining a product? Is it more machines? And maybe you could give us a sense of, when the payout when you start to see the payout and what the resource outlay is, what should we expect on the OpEx front as a result of this?
Sorry, are you saying how much are we going to spend on Dojo, or?
Yeah,
R&D of Dojo.
Yes.
Well, we're not going to be open loop on our Dojo expenditures. So, but I mean, I think we will be spending, certainly north of $1 billion over the next year on through the end of next year. It's well over $1 billion in Dojo. Yeah. So, I mean, we've got a truly staggering amount of video data to do training on. And this is another thing. I don't like in order to copy us, you'd also need to spend billions of dollars on training compute. I mean, it's like, and it's also hard to, you need the data and you need the training compute. It's like, think of all the things needed to actually achieve this at scale for a generalized solution for autonomy. This is one of the hardest problems ever. You see a lot of AI companies doing, LLMs and whatnot. And I'm saying, if they're so great, why can't they make a self-great driving car? Because it's harder. That's why. But I do think that's I think there's some great AI companies out there. But just fundamentally, the staggering amount of data we've got to process has got to be processed somehow. And custom silicon is the best way to do that. So that's what Dojo is designed to do is optimize for video training. It's not optimized for LLMs. It's optimized for video training. With video training, you have a much higher ratio of compute to memory bandwidth. Whereas LLMs tend to be memory bandwidth choked. So that's it. I mean, but like I said, we're using a lot of NVIDIA hardware, and we continue to we'll actually take NVIDIA hardware as fast as NVIDIA will deliver it to us. Tremendous respect for Jensen and NVIDIA. They've done an incredible job. And frankly, I don't know if they could deliver us enough GPUs, we might not need Dojo, but they can't. So they got so many customers. They've been kind enough to nonetheless prioritize some of our GPU orders. Yeah, the sheer magnitude of video training, because like I said, we're not trying to just get as good as human. We want to get to 10 times better than human, maybe 100 times better than human. Right now, I believe there's something on the order of 1 million automotive deaths per year, and then if you say permanent serious injuries, I think it's probably closer to 10 million per year. So it matters if you're twice as good as human, 10 times, like 10 times better than human would still mean 100,000 deaths, and 1 million severe permanent injuries. So it's like, okay, well, we'd rather be 100 times better. So there's really, it's a march of nines. and we want to achieve as perfect safety as possible. It's vast, truly mind-boggling amounts of video and computer needed for that. So, and then I do think there's other applications for Dojo, but we just desperately need it for video training.
Great.
Just to add to what Elon mentioned, so the numbers that he mentioned are between R&D spend and capital spend, and this is moving quickly, and so we provide a 3-year outlook on our capital expense. We are considering these expenses in that outlook, and as that moves up and down, we'll continue to update our guidance in the queue.
Yeah, I want to say the fundamental rate limiter on the progress of full self-driving is training. But that's if we had more training compute, we would get it done faster. So that's it.
And it's just difficult to predict how quickly we can execute on it.
Great, thank you. Just as a follow-up, I recognize there's some incredible macro uncertainty right now, but you're sticking with your near-term, your volume target of 50% CAGR. As we just think about sort of in the year ahead, Cybertruck is going to be some contribution. There's going to be some help from further EV penetration growth, but to what extent are you willing to sacrifice on pricing to keep that 50% volume CAGR intact? Or are you thinking differently about margins versus your prior commentary of willing to sacrifice on margins to get more share?
It's not about getting more share. It's just that you can think of every car that we sell or produce that has a full autonomy capability as actually something that in the future may be worth as much as 5 times what it is today. Because average passenger vehicle is doing like maybe 10 hours of driving a week. If let's say it's 1.5 hours a day on average, that's 10 hours a week, ish. If you've got an autonomous, if that vehicle is able to operate autonomously and be used in some either dedicated autonomous or partially autonomous, like Airbnb, maybe sometimes you allow your car to be used by others. Sometimes you want to use it exclusively, just like Airbnb, doing Airbnb with a room in your house. That the value is just tremendous. So I think it would be. I think it does make sense to sacrifice margins in favor of making more vehicles, because we think in the not too distant future they will have a dramatic valuation increase. I think the Tesla fleet value increase to the point at which we can upload full self-driving and it's approved by regulators will be the single biggest step change in asset value maybe in history.
Thank you. Let's go to the next analyst. The question comes from Emmanuel Rosner from Deutsche Bank.
Thank you very much. 2 questions from me as well. First, following up on the autonomy. So, before you start launching these dedicated robotaxi vehicles on existing vehicles, you're improving FSD, incrementally. What is your latest targeted timing to essentially release a non-beta version or an eyes-off version that would trigger much higher take rates? And would Tesla benefit from lowering the price of FSD?
Well, obviously, as people have sort of made fun of me, and perhaps quite fairly have made fun of me, my predictions about achieving full self-driving have been optimistic in the past. The reason they've been optimistic is what it tends to look like is we'll make rapid progress with the new version of FSD, but then it will curve over logarithmically. So at first, like a logarithmic curve looks like just sort of fairly straight upward line, diagonal up. And so if you extrapolate that, then you have a great thing. But then, because it's actually logarithmic, it curves over, and then there've been a series of stacked logarithmic curves. Now, yeah, I know I'm the boy who cried FSD, but I think we'll be better than human by the end of this year. That's not to say we're approved by regulators, and I'm saying that would be in the U.S. Because we got to focus on one market first. But I think we'll be better than human by the end of this year. I've been wrong in the past. I may be wrong this time. And for the price of FSD, so the weird thing is the price of FSD is actually very low. It's not high. When you go back to what I was saying earlier, the value of the car increases dramatically if it is actually autonomous. $15,000 is actually a low price, not a high price. Now we will offer, and I think we do sort of offer FSD as a sort of monthly subscription, although like most people don't know that. So I'd recommend like maybe trying it out as a monthly subscription, so you don't have to go with the $15,000 thing. But I think, obviously if the car is worth several times its original price, $15,000 is actually a low price for FSD.
Thank you. And the next question comes from William Stein from Truist. William, go ahead and unmute.
Great. Thank you very much for taking my question. I'd like to ask about to stick on this AI topic. We read, with great interest the developments in Dojo today, and you've spoken about FSD. But you've also, Elon, you've started this X.AI company, and for investors that think that there might be quite a bit of value in the AI features and products of Tesla, it might be concerning to see you, pursuing another endeavor where AI is the focus. So can you talk about how X.AI might overlap, might perhaps compete with Tesla, or in other ways, perhaps it enhances the value of what Tesla does? Thanks very much.
Yeah, I think it will actually enhance the value of Tesla. There really were just some of the world's best AI engineers and scientists that were willing to join a startup, but they were not willing to join a large, sort of relatively established company like Tesla. So I was like, that's actually how it got started. I was interviewing a few people, and they're like, "No, we want to do a startup." I was like, and that's all. I can convince them to join Tesla. So I was like, okay, well, better it's a startup that I run than they go work somewhere else. That's kind of the genesis of XAI. And XAI is focused on sort of AGI. So it's but I'd like to say I think there will be some value that XAI brings to Tesla. Also for the very best people in the world, they really just want to work on interesting problems. So if you take, say, our material science group, really what convinced Charlie Kuhlman to leave Apple, where he was very happy and well compensated, and both what we think is the best material science group in the world, was that he got to work at both Tesla and SpaceX. He wasn't willing to leave Apple if it was just Tesla, but he was willing to do it if it was Tesla and SpaceX. So sometimes you get the best talent in the world. That's the kind of thing you need to do, and that actually has been very beneficial to Tesla. So. Yeah.
If I could squeeze one more mundane question in, I wonder if you think you can hit the 1.8 million unit number with current pricing, or do you anticipate needing to continue to lower prices? Because it seems like they've stabilized. The trends have stabilized in the last maybe month and a half, should we expect a sort of continued decreases or more stabilization for the rest of the year?
Sure. We have a really sort of restarted the referral program, which I think will be quite effective. As Zach was saying earlier, we don't control the macroeconomic conditions. So if interest rates continue to rise, that reduces the affordability of cars. And for a lot of people, they're really trying to balance it, just barely breaking even every month. In fact, if you look at the rise in credit card debt, they are in fact not breaking even every month. Like credit card debt is looking scary. So we just don't control macro conditions. If macro conditions are stable, I think prices will be stable. And if they're not stable, then we would have to lower prices. Yeah.
Thank you. Let's go to Colin Rush from Oppenheimer.
Thanks so much, guys. As you're building out Dojo and implementing what surely is going to be a highly complex set of software, can you speak to the maturity of the operating system and how much outsourced software you're expecting to use in that system?
This is a custom software stack, so but it is designed such that you can run at a high level PyTorch and JAX. But then we have to customize it to actually run on a custom silicon. So the software stack is a combination of open source software and then Tesla software all the way to the bare silicon, which is the case for the inference computer in the car.
Okay, thanks so much. That's super helpful. And then can you speak to how you're managing some of the geopolitical risks relative to your capacity expansion? Obviously, as you guys continue to grow at this rate, you're going to be putting some folks out of business. And there's going to be some impacts around regional economies. So just want to understand how you're thinking about that in terms of some of your CapEx plans and how you're managing some of those relationships with different countries and regions.
Well, this is a period of unusual geopolitical risk. So I think the best we can do is, have factories in many parts of the world, such that if things get difficult in one part of the world, we can still keep things going in the rest of the world.
Thank you. The next question comes from Mark Delaney from Goldman Sachs.
Thank you very much for taking the question. Tesla has been making progress reducing cost and did so again last quarter. Can you give an update on when you think automotive COGS per vehicle could be under the historical $36,000 per vehicle level, and what are the key puts and takes to get there?
I think I was asked this in the past. This is very difficult to forecast. There's a series of costs that we manage. There's a series of costs in which we don't control. And so, particularly on the commodity side, where labor costs go, et cetera, it's just hard to say.
Yeah, we saw very strong inflationary pressures for a while last year, and now which obviously makes it very difficult to reduce COGS. And now we're seeing what seem to be deflationary pressures. Certainly, deflationary. If deflation is a pressure, but we're seeing commodity prices dropping as was mentioned. As Karin mentioned a moment ago, and I think. I mean, what do you think? Basically, the trends seem to be deflationary at the commodity level.
Definitely, there's that, and then there's also the unit economics improve as volumes grow. That's the other thing we're seeing, as we're becoming a bigger and bigger part of a lot of suppliers. Economies of scale come into play. There's equipment depreciation that comes into play. Equipment that was commissioned 5 to 7 years ago, that used to be a part of the piece price. That's completely amortized. So we'll see situations where piece price comes down because that equipment contribution has gone away. And then we continue to have this mentality of continuous improvement in terms of labor, reducing labor, improving automation, and just continue to get better at what we do. So we have seen, I think every quarter we have seen an improvement. Of course, the commodities spiked up and down,
Yeah.
but just in general, the trend is towards being more efficient.
Yeah, and totally agree.
Yeah, but lithium prices went absolutely insane there for a while.
Yeah, and they're recovering now.
Cobalt's like a third of what it used to be.
Yeah, and we're still early in the ramps. Well, not early in the ramp, but early in the cost down curve of Austin and Berlin.
Yeah.
And so it takes time to work the cost out. At first, it's focused on ramp. Ramp brings cost down.
Ramp and quality, and then
And
ramp
then-
and quality cost.
Yeah, and then once that stabilizes, we can divert bandwidth to cost reduction. And so Austin and Berlin saw quite a decent amount of cost reduction on a fundamental basis from Q1 to Q2. We'll continue to do that work. That will be helpful. And so we're just going to keep chipping away at it.
Yeah, packaging is a big element to that.
Yeah, logistics too.
Logistics is normalizing, which is great.
Qbot, utilization, something that the team has been very focused on. So every bit of it.
Yeah,
It's hard.
Logistics is underappreciated. Yeah, it's the old saying goes like, battles are won with tactics, wars are won with logistics.
Yeah, and we made tremendous improvements in cost in all fronts. On expedite costs, we have down to pre-pandemic expedite cost levels now, and our goal is to go further down.
So when we look at our progress from Q1 to Q2 on cost, the way that we look at internally, normalize for the impacts of mix shift with Austin and Berlin being a higher percentage of our mix, normalize for SNX being a higher percentage of our mix in Q2 versus Q1. The sequential cost reduction, it might be the largest we've had in a while. So I think it's great work on behalf of the Tesla team, and we just got to keep it up.
Yeah, it's a game of pennies. It's like Game of Thrones with pennies.
Mark, do you have a follow-up question? I think you're muted.
Yep. Yeah. Thank you very much for all the details on that. Maybe you could put a finer point on the downtime impact that you spoke about in your prepared comments, in terms of production impact, and then also to what extent there's a margin impact from those factory upgrades that you're planning this quarter. Thank you.
Yeah, the downtime, we don't know exactly the number of cars impacted because, kind of the way that we go into downtime windows for upgrades is, we set aside a period of time, but then the team is challenged to go as quickly as possible so that we can get the factories up and running again and minimize that. So it's not profound reduction, hopefully it's quite small.
I think we're getting too much into the weeds here. I mean, like we're asking for a level of precision that is not possible to answer. So let's move on.
Yeah. I think this is unfortunately all the time we have for today.
Okay.
So we'll speak to you all in the next 3 months. Thank
Great.
you very much.
Thank you.
All right, guys. So that is the Tesla earnings call, man. I'm just gonna say this. Sometimes, like for these earnings calls, I kind of gotta remind y'all, stop being so emotional, man. Like so many people hate Tesla, and it's not like I'm even like some huge Tesla bull that's always telling people to buy it or anything like that. But there's just so much emotion in chat here. Like in the end, Tesla is doing a lot of sales. That's very obvious. It's obviously changing the game for like the automotive industry. I think people dislike Elon for political reasons. And again, I'm pretty neutral politically, but there's just so much emotion in chat. Like Tesla can push up literally 200% in like 6 months, 7 months. And then if they drop 4%, everybody's telling me Tesla's just going to go to zero. Like, come on now. Y'all are so emotional, man. Just take a step back and realize, like, regardless of whether you love or hate the stock, it's probably not going to fail. That's just an objective truth here. It's probably not going to fail. Let's just be real here for a second. Anyways, we're going to be doing a crypto show today. We're going to pivot over as soon as we end the stream. It's going to bring you over to the crypto show. If for whatever reason it doesn't, I'm going to give you the link. You can go to youtube.com/beginnercrypto. Give your boy a follow. We certainly appreciate it. Here is the link for the crypto show. So when we end the stream, if for whatever reason it doesn't bring you over there, there's the link right there. Check it out. Hey, thank you so much for the donation. Stop crying. Stock is way overbought. Hey, and that's a subjective thing. Maybe it is. Again, I really don't know. It's not like I'm some huge fanboy of Tesla. I don't own a Tesla or anything like that, but I think Teslas look cool, to be honest. But again, I'm pretty neutral politically. I think if you're really polarized to one side, you might just kind of not be able to separate yourself from that and just kind of hate it or whatever. I never hate any stock. I don't fanboy any stock. I don't really hate any stock either. I just look at it objectively. And in terms of like Tesla PE ratio, I don't think it's like crazy high. I don't think it's necessarily low, is it? So like relative to the money that Tesla is bringing in here, Tesla currently, the PE ratio of Tesla right now is 75 or so right now, about 75 for their PE ratio. So it's high, but it's not like Nvidia's about 200, AMD's about 400. So like, we'll see. Again, if they debut the Cybertruck, I think that's probably going to break sales records. But again, let me know what you guys think. If you haven't already, guys, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. Thank you so much. We broke 111,000 subs today. Also, if you haven't already, check out Moomoo. If you open up an account on Moomoo, Moomoo's really dope. Like, again, number one, I can check all this stuff on Moomoo right here. Let me show you. So I can pull this up, and this is my watch list, and it'll give me like a full rundown and everything going on for Moomoo. I can also pull this up right here. Hold on, let me make sure. And this is like the best news source in the game. I can see what's going on in the market. I can see what economic data is going on. I can go to Explore and see market hotspots, get my own heat map here, see what the best performing sectors and pre-market, after hours hot stocks are. I can look at futures, bank ratings, IPO, divvy payouts, future analysis. I can go to their paperfolio section, and you can literally follow traders, see what strategy portfolios they have, and then copy them and mimic them. Really, really useful. Zero commission stock trades. Open the entire session of pre-market, which is why I pivoted over from TOS. And TOS. And if you open up an account and deposit $100, you get 5 free stocks. If you open up an account and deposit at least $1,000, you get 15 free stocks. And speaking of Tesla, if you open up an account and deposit at least 5K, you get the previous 15 free stocks. And I got like Palantir and some other ones, and a free share of Google or Tesla. And I did get Tesla. And so if you want to help support the channel, they are a sponsor of mine. Great way to help support the channel. There's the link right there. I definitely appreciate it. You can also check out Top Step if you want to actively day trade futures. There's no PDT in futures. You can actively do so in the futures market, buy market, all that good stuff. And the patterns are very similar in stocks and futures, very similar patterns and strategies. And you can day trade futures with no PDT rule. And Top Step is the most legit futures funded program in the world. They pay out millions, fund thousands of traders a year. They give you a demo. If you can hit 3K on the base one without losing 2K, they fund you $50,000 with a 90% split. And again, they pay out millions, fund thousands of traders a year. If you want to get exposure to day trading, it's $49 right now, so limited risk. You can check these out as well. Great way to help support the channel. These are my sponsors, guys. But again, I'm going to end this stream, and we're going to go right over to our crypto show. Again, we're going to be talking about Ripple. We're going to be talking about the BLK CEO and what he thinks about crypto right now, and a couple other news stories on the day. And so good luck. Love you all. Y'all be safe. You can check out all my sponsors in the description. Don't be so emotional, guys. Regardless of what Tesla does, you're going to be okay. And yeah, I'll see you guys over there. Good luck. Y'all be safe. Again, if it doesn't bring you to the stream for whatever reason, here is the link to the upcoming crypto show that's going to start right now. Let me get that troll out of here. Okay, there, the troll is gone. And yeah, I'll see you guys over there.